And we'll just start off. Welcome, Mehir.
Yeah, hi everyone. I was following the last bit of the debate, and the poem I'm going to read, I should tell you all about something fairly terrible which has happened here in India. 11 men who were jailed for gang raping a pregnant woman and killing her child, killing 6 people in her family during the riots. Well, they were jailed by the courts and they were let off because they belonged to the Brahmin caste. And that is completely horrifying for all of us. And of course, there are petitions going on for their being re-arrested or whatever, but they are well-connected people. And not only were they released, but their release was celebrated with garlands and mithai. The sweets were given to them publicly, which was completely horrifying for all of us. So the first poem I'm reading is called Lament of a Marigold When Rapist Murderers Are Garlanded. Now, a marigold is a flower in India which is used for a lot of auspicious occasions, at weddings and at festivals like Diwali, Holi, whatever. So this is the poem, Lament of a Marigold.
Hola, Daniel.
From the day I was born.
Mal tiempo.
Boy, somebody's reading. A bit of respect.
Shall I resume?
Yeah.
Start again. Everybody should be muted.
From the day I was born, I was considered auspicious. Petal after petal opened to the sun, drinking in warmth, growing from bud to flower, awaiting festive fun. Would I end in a pious puja, adorn a bridal bed, a Diwali decoration, a garland around her head? Puja offering felt best, dancing among chanting devotees, praying to various deities. Being crushed on a bridal bed would not be bad, or as a Diwali decor, competing with diyas and glittering lights. But all dreams dashed. I got woven into a garland for goons, rancid, odious sweat overpowering my flowery scent. The same sweat that mingled with the sweat of the woman they raped, the same sweat that dripped on the blood of the murdered child. Dirty sweat stains me, chokes me. How can I rebel? And my second poem is on justice. It's an old poem. It's not written now, it's an old poem. Justice exists no more than heaven exists. One preaches messages of love and tolerance. The other teaches slogans of rights and defiance. Both point in directions without destinations. And we fools follow paths of our imagination. The last one is in the same vein. There's no point asking God for anything. Neither Jack nor Jill exist, only the tall hill to be climbed alone. And we keep panting up that hill, we keep tumbling down that hill, we keep sweating on the hill, but still don't reach water. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Wonderful as always. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. You managed to get in this week. We heard him earlier on. Welcome back, Xavier. You're muted, sir.
Yeah. Okay, hello. Yeah, it's been great. It's been a great week. I've been in a total isolation in a Buddhist center, and it's something that I recommend. A lot of angry people around us project their own personal grudges into politics and something else. And I'm coming back to a more positive vibe. I'm going to read a poem by Gabriel Ferrater. Just finished a commission where I did some music to our more first modern poet that I think I read here before. And it's been a great experience to read somebody that is probably as good as Shakespeare or any of these great guys in other languages. This is called Theseus. Okay. Let's start again. Un sol fila d'aure, la fosca memòria, corre pels tapissos on t'has figurat. Tornes tu, no trepitges fort, i et fas sofrir els ulls a seguir la trauma pels vells corredors. Salves esvorancs, de por successiva, només et llampeguin lluïssors de fe. Una mica idèntic, algú et pots dir que ets tu mateix. Sempre fa camí amb tu. No retrobaràs la teva ombra espessa, el dubte propòsit en què saps trair, fins que on, a la llum del sol, vine, et crida la graia, a vegades esperen les dones. And now I'll try to use this, well, in English, in a different vibe. It says, Theseus, a single thread gilds your dark memory, runs through the tapestries in which you have figured. Do you return? Tread lightly, and you will suffer your eyes to follow the pattern down the ancient corridors. You travel through gasps of successive fear. If only there flicker images of faith, that somehow identical, someone you could say was yourself, continually walks beside you, will not recover the density of your shadow, the fluid purpose with which you betray, until you emerge where? In the light of the sun. Which one calls the crowd? Other, the women await you. Anyway, it's been a great pleasure being here, but I gotta go back to work and care for people and action by action, bring social change and well, try to make the world as a more harmonious place. Okay, you have a good evening, everybody. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Xavier. Thank you. Always a pleasure having you around and on the show. Thank you when you managed to get the link to work. That is something. Thank you, sir. Okay. Here we go now. Hey, welcome back, Doc Channing.
Good afternoon. Nexus. In the space between, before today and beyond tomorrow, there is a moment of now, a now of limitless possibilities, where lies a node, a nexus amid distant drums of time, in a vortex of intricate language, the colors of music, and a kaleidoscope of thought. It holds an anthology of life, life in armor, life in silk, life in all the intricacies, impossibilities, and improbabilities of the far side of never. Life which seeks that which seeks life in the voices of distant longing and the caress of infinity. And dreamscapes, night, a scrim of stars covers the sky, Milky Way to the fore. It conceals and reveals caverns of time, caverns of infinite dark and light, before today and beyond tomorrow, which lie across the sharp horizon of existence. Galaxies swirl and whirl through space, through the multiverse, in a timescape all their own, and life journeys through dreamscapes and arcane ancient alchemy of eternity on wandering wings of thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Is that all? You got another one?
Another one.
Yeah.
Okay. At the edge of existence, in the nexus of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, our past is but imperfect memory within the present. Our present is a concatenation of hopes and dreams, of happiness and fear, of joys and sorrows, imbuing into the future. Our future is filled with unknowns. Our past is future, and future is past, one never leaving the other behind in the crossroads of today. We are a creation of the sacred dance of life in all its infinite variation, of those who came before in myriad generations and billions of years, of our experience in this and other lives, our thoughts distilled in the alembic of forever. We are not who we were moments ago, days ago, weeks, months, and years ago. We are traveling across the sharp horizon of forever, through the mysteries of time and the frontiers of infinity, seeking that which seeks us in the spaces between minds. We are carrying messages from the distant past to an unimaginable future and into arcane mysteries of unknown dimensions. We are becoming. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, next up, Michael Sendler.
Okay. Doc, thank you for just, your words just are so soothing and beautiful and calming. And I just, every time I hear you, I just feel a little bit better. Every time. I'm going to start with a couple little shorties here because, tomorrow is Labor Day here in the US. So I thought I'd do a couple pieces that sort of do. This first one is my old occupation. It's called the Line Cooks. We work the line in the stifling heat that thickens the glaze, that sears the meat and boils the savory, bubbling broth skimming off layers of rising froth, sauteing and frying and braising and basting, spicing just enough, measuring and tasting, using every tool and apparatus we wield, then plating our craft, our art, your meal. And I don't know what that was. And this one is the other side for those who unfortunately are caught on the bad side of labor, even worse. It's called Flying Cardboard. Flying Cardboard says, flat broke cracker needs cheddar. Slice off a single. And I'm going to do one. Last night was the very last online open mic for Poetry in the Brew. It was Christine Hall out of Nashville. And there are a few hosts of open mics who are exceptional, and I consider you one, Finn. But anybody who knows Christine knows that she's just incredible, just spectacular and gracious. And I'm going to miss that open mic a lot. And so I read this there that I wrote actually for an instructor of another thing, but I think it really applies to this as well. It's called Gentle Gardener for Jane Thatcher, and the epigram is, I visit the orchards of Spears and look at the product and look at the quintillions ripened and look at quintillions green. Walt Whitman. Tending a garden of forgotten flowers, an unforeseen explosion of blossoming colors, seeds from far and wide blown by rough winds in need of attention and gentle care. Carefully, subtly, lovingly cultivated, every hue, shade, shape, and texture, thick-stemmed and thorned and delicate strands, tall, strong, freestanding stalks, and gently creeping vines in need of purchase, clinging for support against the elements. Week by week, roots watered and nurtured, turned sunward, steadied by well-placed supports, letting patterns play and form a harmonious whole, dazzling in its rich array of details, full of fragrance, evoking wisdom and desire. Without the effort of the gentle gardener, rare disparate blooms, oft seen as weeds, transplanted from the far-flung wilds, could never have joined to become this interconnected, majestic maze of delight. Does it seem a simple act to prepare the ground and season by season harvest sweet fruits? It is not. We must give the gardener due praise, whose diligent, steady touch sensed in each plant unique potential and birthed a sweeter, better world. This is not the only garden to be thus blessed. Leaving these budding, gross, and others capable hands, the gentle gardener now moves on to furrow new fields, to bring forth crop after crop of wonder and rapture, as this strong, sheltered oasis remains and thrives. Every future blossom and fruit bursting forth will owe its grandeur and radiance in part to the tender, green-fingered cultivator's loving labor. Spores will flutter off to land and grow in plots and tracks, new germination continuing the gardener's never-ending gift. Hands, heart, vision, and a few simple tools used well are all it takes, the gifted, to enrich shared experience. Exquisite gardens will grow, feeding spirit and soul, all indebted and thankful for the gardener's care, all reflecting humble compassion and graceful design. And Finn, I just want to thank you for continuing to provide such a beautiful garden as this space is. Thank you all very much.
Oh, thank you indeed, Michael. Yeah, Poetry Brew's gonna be really missed. That was one of the first ones I did way back in the midst of time. Yeah, and obviously worked with Christine on a couple of things as well. Great stuff. Thank you. Okay. Next up, sit back and relax, ready to share a screen. Alexandra.
Hello. Line 8 is kind of long, so I'm just going to cut right through to the middle and read half of it. So you can see the designs.
Yep.
Okay, and the wind is blowing everywhere, through my hair, through the sea. Butterfly that cannot wither, butterfly that cannot waste, butterfly that can only flutter, butterfly that can only fly. And there lives a little cloud, and it is so yawning, it has to find a way. And the clouds say everything will be all right. And it is so hoping, it has to find a way. And the clouds say everything is going to be all right. And it is so knowing, it has to find a way. And the clouds say everything is all right. And it is so trusting, it just has to find a way. And the clouds say everything is just right. At night when I come home, the moon is shining over the mountains and over the house. Upstairs is our room. We sit there at night. The bed is very big and soft and warm. Outside the window I can see many purple flowers on the bathroom tiles. And I can feel the magical world waiting, and I can feel the excitement inside. The trees outside the kitchen window sway in the wind, and the mountains are dark. When it's misty, the moon has many colors, and it shines over the mountain all the time, and has all the other worlds and people inside. Listening to music and dancing as I turn my worries into joys. In the city we sit and have our drinks, and I have the butterfly and the clouds inside, and I have the blowing of the wind inside, and I have the land being golden all around, and I won't speak because everything is happening, and I have all the joy inside. I will fly, I must fly forever. And even if no one knows, and even if the other worlds never know, and even if the land is frozen, and even if there isn't a single plant or tree, I will always dream, I will always dream, I will always dream, and I promise I will always dream. We go to the horses every day. The horses are flying high up in the mountains, and they say, I have to fly to other lands. And I walk up the ramp, and everything is still and quiet, and the horses are eating, and the doves are flying up above the cave. I sit on a stone up above the cliff. My son likes it there and picks flowers. Grey and windy, little horse running through the mountains like crazy, and the wind is blowing, and the moon is shining, because it has the magical world inside, and it has all our friends inside, and it has all the dreaming and all the hoping inside. And our friends are here, and the people are around, and the fun is happening. And there is comfort and there is gratitude inside. And all our friends are here, and all the people are around, and all the fun is happening, and all the thrill and all the happiness is inside. And there are dreams and there is dreaming, dream to survive. And there are dreams and there is dreaming, dream to make life right. And the magical world exists everywhere, both in hell and in heaven. And the magical world goes everywhere, both to hell and to heaven. And sometimes the need comes from outside, and sometimes from within. And I have to dream alone, and I have to dream in society now. And sometimes the magic comes from outside and sometimes from within. And I have to dream to have everything happen inside. And I have to dream to have everything happen in society now. I eat red grapes and all my strength returns. All the light is in the sun waves, on my body, on the sea sand. I lie in your strong arms in the dream boat. Our souls white butterflies, golden cords unite us. And the living is so difficult, and the dreaming is all hard, and thoughts are troubled, and the dreaming is dangerous, and fear is all around, and the dreaming is desperate, and moments are almost unsurpassable, and the dreaming is extreme, and the flying is high, and the flying is high. And the living is so perfect, and the dreaming is all real, and thoughts are confident, and the dreaming is the most beautiful, and excitement is all around, and the dreaming is full of joy, and moments are almost untouchable, and the dreaming is forever fulfilled, and the flying is high, and the flying is high, and the flying is the highest. And the wind is blowing, and the land is golden, and the moon is shining. And the wind is blowing, and the horses are flying, and the land is golden, and the moon is shining. And everyone is here, and the whole world is around, and all the living is happening, and all the dreaming and all the flying is inside, and all the dreaming and all the flying is outside. Now dream, now live. Now dream, now live. Thank you.
Hear me applause for it if I mute myself. That was beautiful as always.
Very
Beautiful as
beautiful.
always. Wow, thank you. And you should check out the flying series on Alexander's YouTube site. They're wonderful stuff to see them. Watch them again and again. Thank you. All right, now welcome back now. Fiona Robertson.
Hi, everyone. Before I start, just congratulations to Finn on such a successful poetry festival. That was, I wish I could have made it, but I was in Edinburgh, unfortunately. But it's everyone says it was, yes, indeed, and everyone said it was amazing. So well done. Mine, I was going to read a different one, but given the conversation that we started with, I'm going to go with my one about I'm a old and very tired activist, and there's always discussion about the best way to do things, and so this is my allegory for plurality of methods in activism. And it's a bit long, and the title's long as well. So it's called "When the Wolves Come, You Learn Fast How Many Ways There Are to Fight." You've been sharpening your axe to a keen singing edge, barring the windows with hammered cookware, laying traps made of hollows and spikes. Those are all necessary. Immediate survival tonight requires your weapons, your screams. You need to be able to hold them off to prevent the massacre. But you'll also press wadded towels and prayers and palms to wounds gushing red in widening pools in the back of the house in the dark places. You'll also hold your hand over the mouth of a scared child hiding under the bed as the wolf pads away, your own screams burning in your throat, your own breath held. It's so much easier to be strong for someone else. You'll also ring the bell, echoing further than you can yell to warn the village the crisis is here. There's no more time. You'll also stack the furniture against the door, your old paint box scratching your wedding table, breaking the legs of chairs to give the others time to bind their wounds. You'll also breathe fire in the doorway with last year's whiskey and this year's wood, toasting the life you've built and the one you're fighting for, and setting it all alight. You'll also put those fires out when they threaten your people. Even when you're doing the right thing, we can hurt the people we're trying to save. Our violence must be controlled. And when the wolf is dead, by your hand or someone else's, blood staining floor and skin and soul, survivors exhausted and staring, you'll get to work. You'll bury the bodies and sing them on, laying flowers and offering memories, because not everyone survives the night. But you did, and you owe them. You'll keep the wounds clean because it's not only the moment of terror which can kill you. You'll bring water and salt, tenderness and the sting. You'll brush the ashes and clean the blood out of the house because life goes on, and you will not give up your home. You will not let it be defined only by the worst thing which happened here. You'll cure the pelt into a blanket, harsh chemicals and beating turning it soft and warm. You'll embroider the edges with the names of the dead and with the pictures of the life you've lived since, wedding rings and babies' cribs. You'll curl into each other on winter nights, tracing the scars carefully stitched and healed until they only ache when it rains, heat building until your joy shines out, life surging on in bodies marked and loved. You'll realize life is the rest of the battle. Everyone has a part to play. You always knew there were many ways to fight, only now you understand most don't look like fighting. You'll tell the stories to travelers, to children and to new arrivals. You'll learn to write so you can write it down for them to carry what you know beyond your borders, so they won't have to learn from first scratch. You'll tell the stories so when the wolves come, they know how to fight them, how to survive them, so they know wolves can be beaten. And someday, in a lean harvest, when neighbor turns on neighbor, you'll remember how thin the wolves were that night, and you'll start to wonder. Eventually, you'll leave scraps of meat outside your boundaries, a steady source of food. You'll keep your defenses up, both of you guarded, but with good reasons to fear with the other. But each day, they'll get a little closer, and you'll wait carefully, sharing what you have. Until someday, many years from now, the people still telling your stories will sit by the fire, learning how to protect their homes from bigger monsters, while once wild wolves pace the circle, protecting their strange pack, before stretching, resting, a sharp-toothed muzzle in a child's lap, and curling safe and loved, asleep at their feet.
Wow. Wow. That's all I can say, Fiona. Thank you. That was wow.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Thank you. Beautiful stuff. Right. Okay. Next up, Mr. Rick Spisak.
Well, thank you so much, my friends. Fiona, that was absolutely wonderful and wise. Wonderful and wise. Thank you. We needed to hear that. I was going to only do science, but gosh, that was very inspiring. So I have to kind of tilt a little bit. Here we go. My first piece is called, you know, in this country I live in, women are somehow being undervalued again. Oh my God, it's the law of the land, and it's awful and it's terrible. So I salute this woman scientist, a woman named Cecilia Payne, who discovered the chemistry of stars. Cecilia Payne, well in range. A complete transformation of my world picture, said Professor Cecilia Payne, PhD. There is no joy comparable to the fact that cannot be contained inside our current understanding, falling somehow outside our range. A fact that cannot be fit in what we presently know presents an opportunity, a pointer showing where we might go. A fact so tart and rich in pungency, it presents us with its own special blend of urgency. This our Cecilia took to her heart as she took her scientific pleasure part there on Cambridge Common. There was no room for women, God love 'em. Professor Astronomer Eddington made suggestions, books she might read, and then when she informed him, all these she'd indeed consumed already. Her course was steady. These she did need not any. No matter, for her talent in science had no proper perch. Here in this Cambridge they would deny it and leave her in the lurch. She didn't buy it. Their massive loss, this proper scientist, so off to Radcliffe there would be room there, rely on this. Their room for such a mind would find ample room where Shapley's gigantic cosmic structure loomed across the vast, dark, empty cosmic gloom. Harlow Shapley of Harvard College offered her a position where she could increase her knowledge. The largest repository of stellar spectra had they needed a special mind to mold that raw clay. Spectral data from stellar fires reveals what elements are there combusted and by fires consumed, how rare there the spectral lines of absorption are revealed and would show what element constituents were burning before concealed. How revealing these stellar fingerprints, which tell us of these starry element constituents. The starry fires glow, their absorption lines show, and now, thanks to Cecilia, we know. Payne showed how to decode the spectral lines, and what they showed by her refined. Her professor said of her doctoral thesis, the most brilliant PhD thesis in the history of astronomy. As a student of quantum physics, she knew the color patterns exquisite came from orbiting electrons, a special kind of atomic lantern this is. On her paper, she proved in what she had learned, it's not from constituents elements burned, but temperature revealing wild ionization from these stellar fires concerned. She discovered, quite surprisingly, that all the stars that we see have largely two constituents, not three or more, just hydrogen, helium, and very little more. Her book, Stellar Atmospheres, showed us how to read with understanding clear. She also advanced the study of variable stars, what they are, showing how insistent and persistent she was. This first woman made full professor at Harvard. After stellar distances and principles traveled, she'd come that far. Cecilia Payne, know her name. And now, my dear friends, you powerful, wonderful women, without whom we wouldn't set foot on this planet, I say to you this wonderful union poem because we have a Labor Day. There once was a union maid, she never was afraid of the goons and the ginks and the company finks and the deputy sheriff that made the raid. She'd go to the union hall when the meeting it was called, and when the company boys came around, she always stood her ground. Oh, you can't scare me, I'm sticking to the union. And I leave the rest to you, my dear brothers and sisters. Thank you, Brother Finn. Thank you.
Ooh, yeah, always like a bit of a singing on BLOT. Do we know that? Thank you, sir. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Okay. Ian.
Hello. It's always exciting listening to Science with Rick. He should be on TV. It's brilliant. I love science documentaries and stuff like that. I don't understand anything at all about science, but it's always fun and wonderful listening to Rick's take on it. So I just got three fairly short ones today, starting with one a bit light-hearted. It's called Just a Sentiment Looking for a Rhyme, or just some words scribbled sitting over a coffee in Cafe Nero's, as usual. I'm just a sentient human being looking for a way simply to subsist by any means, eking out a life, just looking around like all the rest for a fundamental reason to exist. The words that stumble from my mouth don't always make much sense, but if I arrange them carefully, I can convince myself I'm worthy to believe in my own existence. Now I'm aware that our time is brief in the relative scale of things, but that doesn't quite explain how a lovelorn heart palpitates each time the telephone rings. The desire to feel I'm wanted often occupies my foggy mind. And as I write these words, I realize that for all my vain ambitions, I'm just a simple sentiment looking for a rhyme. Thanks. And the second one is a few years ago. I don't think I've actually read it before. It's called Touched by Water. Pebble, shell, shoreline, mountain fell, all shaped, touched by water, by rainfall, by rippling stream, the ever ebbing and rising of the tides, each one working their furtive, formative transformations with a smooth kiss of nurturing persuasion, soft caress of surreptitious, sly contradictions and additions over centuries and the creeping millennia, leaving their telltale, indelible fingerprints all over the pliable landscape. And we too are shaped and fashioned by water, setting our course in the embryonic sac, astronauts on a 9-month spacewalk, attached only by a thin, delicate lanyard to the mothership. And when at last we are decanted into this bare existence we call world, the child's intricately reformed hand with dexterous fingers eagerly grasps the weathered pebbles and assorted polished gewgaws washed up on wind-burned, fecund shores. Thanks. Last one. This is the most recent one. I finished writing it yesterday. I think I was walking down the Thames, passed down to, I think it was the Reading Pride event in Kingsmeadow, and I had a break. I went and did some shopping in Tesco's and sat and had a coffee, and I finished off writing this. And it's rather sad. It's basically, I've written it for a friend who's recently lost someone very close. And she recently put up a picture of a local park where she goes to walk and think things over and obviously work through her grief. It's called Walking with Grief. The leaves whisper their condolences. The tree branches sigh and groan like hired mourners, paying their respects while keeping their distance in their polite, respectful manner. The benches, co-opted to stand sentinel, arrange themselves on the periphery of this isolated park, keeping their counsel with straight-faced grimaces. They conspire to show no visible emotion. And all that's left for me is to walk and walk, lost in my quiet inner grief, alone and lonely as this silent oasis of green. Thank you.
Woo, thank you, Ian. Thank you. Fabulous, fabulous as always. Okay. Next on, we've got first blotter debut coming on now. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. I've been working with this young man for a couple of months. He's only been writing poetry for a few months as well. And we have written a piece together, so we're going to do that first before he does his own stuff. So would you please give a welcome to BLOT Niazi. Hope you pronounce it right, sir.
Well, first of all, Fran, thank you for giving me a platform and introducing me to the world of the creative people. I'm really amazed, and thank you for being mentor to me. And I would like to read one of my pieces which I wrote. I hope my voice is clear.
Yeah, do your one first, then we'll do our one together. Okay. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going with my piece. Yeah.
Yeah, do your
Basically,
piece fast. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Do your piece fast and never do
uh,
another one.
yeah. When a child became frightened of thunder, hastily he ran in the lap of her mother. Asked he, why the Lord is in fury? Mother, would you let me know this story? Is it about angels? His Lord is scolding him now? Tell me the story, mother, tell me how. She grinned while listening to his son. Said she, O son, the Lord does not shun us. Lord is hearing the prayer of past lands dwelled in dismay. Let the clouds roar, let there be rain, let the past earth heal its pain. When there's tempest or thunder, the Lord is not in fury. Even what speaks of his glory, when the rivers replenish, the trees quench thirst, the birds in singing hymns are immersed, the plains will appear more green, soon the sky will be serene. But my son, pray for Lord, here's the children soon. May this weather dwell the boon before it becomes wrath. Implore to Lord for the sun to rise when the sky shed ample tears from its eyes. He goggled at her face when she uttered each word. Towards the story to her mother he heard. Thank you. My first piece is done.
Thank you. I was reading it on the phone as you did it. Thank you. I love that point, sir. Thank you. Right, are you ready? And we're going to do our one together. We're going to do deep water, okay?
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm done.
Okay, I'll do my part and then you can do yours. Okay, this is
Yeah,
one
yeah,
that
do
we
your
wrote
part.
together. It's called Deep Water.
Yeah.
Dripping, spiraling downwards, the ocean floor awaits me. I struggle, but I cannot loosen the chains. My lungs struggle to hold the air within.
My feet can't walk, for I am a tired pilgrim. I'm ready to toil. I'm alive with passion, but the spirit is dead. I'm jealous of the eagle whose eyes can see far, for mine are swooning.
Deeper and deeper I sink, and the salty water fills my eyes, mixing with my tears, never ending, dropping deeper. My spirit is collapsing, my soul emptying.
To me, the world is already hell, even though I'm not dead, but I yearn to live, for I want to breathe tranquil sighs. Don't call a man alive whose spirit is crucified by a cruel world.
The last of my air is almost gone, struggling to breathe. But hold. A hand reaches out, stretches, grabs me, pulls me, rescues me, holds me, saves me, caresses the air back into my life. Slowly but surely, my eyes are opening.
That was great.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, I haven't read that one before. Thank you. Thank you for that, and thank you. Big applause for Bilal for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bravo. Bravo.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on now. Therese.
Thank you. This has been great, and I love the collaboration of poets' voices. So nice. Oh geez, I'm looking for my piece here. I wrote something recently called well, let's see, Only in Relationships, a haiku series of 5. So each one I'll read twice. So the first one is intuition, uncovered by us when we engage in sharing our knowledge that hides. Intuition, uncovered by us when we engage in sharing our knowledge that hides. Imagination. We reach our limits. Now we create together. Our focus is expanded. Imagination. We reach our limits. Now we create together. Our focus is expanded. This one is surrender. Unmanageable. In turning, we surrender. Discover there's more. Surrender. Unmanageable. In turning, we surrender. Discover there's more. Sin. We have closed the door. Passive, blaming, no relief, frozen in our grief. Sin. We have closed the door. Passive, blaming, no relief, frozen in our grief. And the last is, where two are gathered in my name, in love and service, God manifests in our world, takes on human form. Where two are gathered in my name, in love and service, God manifests in our world, takes on human form. So that's the haiku. I have another poem. I don't know if I read it here. Some of you I know have heard it. I know Veronica certainly has heard it. And it's called Apology for My Imperfections. Confessions of a Single Mother. If I could, I would cover you with love and heal your wounds so that we might share again somehow. Do you want me to now? It is the choir invisible who prays for us in song. Yet for just how long can I go on believing in the grace that overcomes the feelings of disgrace and shame? No one is to blame. Am I wrong? Is it only the death of me that finally will set you free from this place to see my face beyond this space into eternity? Will you abandon me? It is not within my power, and I pray somehow my prayer will reach the breach. I will out, and yes, I will go there, and I need not know where or what it's about. Although I do not know, I can be kind, leaving all behind to begin anew over and over and over with you. Do you doubt that this is true? Forgive yourself, and then my turn may come. These broken pieces will solidify and mend, and you will see how I was overcome, the me that's me, and my capacity. I did my best and gave all that I had and did not save the rest, although I could no longer see where to garner energy. I relied on God alone, for all you had was me. Grace was the key that engendered loyalty, and loyalty can set us free to grow into our own self-embracing humanity. That is my prayer. And Saint Therese, who scatters roses everywhere, is with you. I am content, knowing the love of the divine is there at every turn. And then, when you feel alone and feel you need your mother, you will discover love again. Thank you. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Trace. It was wonderful as always. Beautiful. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, welcome back, the man himself, Mr. Nick Toztek.
Thank you. Right, for the benefit of those who don't live in Britain, since Boris Johnson committed political suicide at last, we've had just totally stagnant politics for weeks and weeks and weeks while the Conservative Party self-indulges in choosing a follower. This is called, These two poems were written yesterday and today. Yesterday's one was All Quiet on the Western Front. After months of floods in Pakistan, thousands have drowned. Many millions have had their homes torn from the ground. Of all that their lives once were, now nothing can be found. From Johnson, Truss and Sunak, not one sympathetic sound. Boxed in Brexit Britain, we've been beaten, bashed around, with crippling inflation consuming every pound. Its heat waves hit our heartland, left pastures burnt and browned. From Johnson, Truss and Sunak, not one sympathetic sound. A disillusioned nation where politicians clowned is quite understandably increasingly strike-bound as debt becomes the hare hunted by the hardship hound. From Johnson, Truss and Sunak, not one sympathetic sound. We've refugees arriving whose whole worlds have unwound. They've come seeking sanctuary. How do we rebound? With flights to Rwanda, bang them up in a compound. From Johnson, Truss and Sunak, not one sympathetic sound. We don't get to vote at all on their merry-go-round. Ships of sham democracy hit rocks and run aground. We're in a downward spiral that's simple, not profound. From Johnson, Truss and Sunak, not one sympathetic sound. The better world we'd hoped for is that which they confound. Where we had aspirations, we've a burial mound in which the living deadbeat choose the next to be crowned. From Johnson, Truss and Sunak, not one sympathetic sound. Here's the second poem. This was written today. It's called Week After Week After Week, with week spelled W-E-A-K. Eventually, we've Liz Truss thrust to the top, just as public services grind to a stop. Glass that was half empty drains past its last drop. Every failed enterprise, every perished crop, bust and bankrupt businesses shutting up shop. Bailiffs clear the building, bare floor left to mop. Yeah, at last we have it, Liz Truss to the top. Each quack cure she's promised, sure to be a flop. Rich'll get richer, the rest are for the chop. She'll badmouth strikers and diss their agitprop, while impatient patients die without an op. Waste of time to even try to throw a strop. Boris gone, Rishi out, Liz Truss to the top. Cheerless and tuneless, she'll dance that Tory bop. We'll get by on what we can, queue for our slop. Maybe steal necessities, beg, blag or swap. Fiddle-dee, fiddle-dee, wop do wop do wop. Proper wheeler dealers, coppers what we'll pop. Got another short one if that's all right. Is it okay?
Of course it's okay.
Ah,
It's BLOT.
fine, thank
Everything's
you.
okay in BLOT.
From a book this time. This is just called Words Extolled. Me, I'm sold, stone cold, on the subtle spread and fold, on the whittle, carve and mould of words and how each one's controlled, how they're dealt and how they're doled, tamed and tasted, tongued and told, bold and batted, screened and scrolled, rhythmed, rhymed, rocked and rolled. The way words feel to touch and hold, how they lull and lure and scold, the etymology of the old, and how each new one gets enrolled. The way they wait to be cajoled, like cattle herded, hushed fish shoaled. Their smell, their spell, as they unfold in wordscapes glistening like gold. Thank you.
Thank. Oh, that's sorry, I'm getting a funny noise. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Nick. Good to have you back again, Nick. Good to have you back. Thank you. All right. Please welcome back again. Welcome back, everyone, tonight. Hello, Becky.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Finn. Sorry about the lighting. We're in the middle of a building site, so not all the lights are working. Hope you can see okay. Well, it doesn't really matter. So nice to be here again. And sorry I was late. Had to put the kids to bed. Yeah, the hat does the job. I just thought I'd throw one at you today, which is literally my first slam I ever wrote, like 25 years ago, when I didn't know what slam poetry was. I started it, and also when I was young enough to have these kind of emotional crises. And then I finished it when I discovered what slam poetry was. So I thought I'd give that a go tonight. Here goes. This morning, I am alone. I woke up on my own, but that's fine. It has to happen sometimes. We need our space, each in our own place. But sometimes it's not safe to leave me talking to myself, rehearsing arguments in my head, all the words you've not yet said, maybe words you'll never say. You might just hear them anyway, because I'm spoiling for us fight. Don't care what's wrong, don't care what's right, don't care what's left when I'm done, though I know that later on there will be tears. I will cry, I will apologize, I will say sorry again, I will say sorry again, I will say sorry again and again and again. It's just a bad day. Blame the wrong side of the bed. I don't know why what's going on is going on inside my head. Blame the hormones, blame the pill, get a shrink to say I'm ill. You know I love you. I always will. It's so sad how we seek to hurt the ones we love so badly, the one who above all we should be raising on a pedestal and worshipping in all their glory, for daring to play a role in someone else's story, for their courage in lending their heart to another. If I were you, for sure, I wouldn't want me as a lover. It's such madness to cause you pain and make you want to leave. So please just believe you are as perfect as can be. And if I complain, it's not you, it's me. You shouldn't see me this way. You should just smile and walk away, but you won't. You'll stay. You'll try to make things okay. Try to put things right. Try to make me see the light, or at least to lighten up, not be so down, not get so wound up. And then you'll give up, you will sigh, and you'll wonder why you tried. And then you'll go away, as you should have done before, but this time you'll slam the door and leave me on my own, and then I'll be alone with my anger and my fears, and then there will be tears. I will cry, too late to apologize. I will be sorry again, I will be sorry again, I will be sorry again and again and again. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I was waiting for you to go again, but thank you very much indeed, Becky. Thank you. Okay. Someone else just in time for a turn before we go to our feature point. I hope you're ready. Kiana, the artist.
Hi, how you guys doing? I hope all is well. But I love her poem. Thank you, thank you. Here goes. I'm this little shy girl that's called pretty. I've been called pretty all my life. How I known to be pretty because of the dark skin and pretty long hair? See, I'm pretty just the way I am. I'm the little shy girl that's called pretty. Hey, pretty, do I change the color of the rainbow? Do I change the color of my hair? See, I'm pretty just the way I am. I'm this little shy girl that's called pretty. Hey, pretty, do I change the color of the rainbow? See, I'm pretty just the way I am. I'm the little shy girl that's called pretty. Hey, pretty, do I wear jeans or do I wear a skirt? See, I'm pretty just the way I am. I'm the little shy girl that's called pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I'm a little shy girl that's called pretty. And that's inspired by a little girl book. Her name is Journey. That's a children's book that I just discovered. So please check her out. Yeah, one more.
Yeah.
All right. All right. All in one. The attitude of character to visible love to unspoken word. I'm the artist. I'm the artist. He believe in God, believe also in me. I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I'm a woman with faith with God, what matters to me, what falls in place to never to justify what you could become. Every day is a new day. Every day is a bright and sunny day. I tend to be with my friends to become even more. My deepest fear is to believe in yourself, to judge me because I am Black. This moment of speech, now walk in my shoes, now walk in my shoes, now walk in my shoes. My naysayers can't say what to say about you because I am somebody, because I am somebody. To the natural hair, to the natural eyes, look at me. I'm natural. The success determines you. Is this mic on? Can I have your attention, please? Words and words, a dream reality. So why I am here? Because I'm the next generation. And thank you. I am so happy for you guys. And also, please check out my podcast in the month of September and October in the fall. It's called the Journey Artists Around the World podcast, which features different poets that come on the podcast to tell them stories and how they overcome through their struggles, through their pains, addictions, and more. So please check it out, the Journey Artists Around the World podcast. And I'll put it in the chat. And please subscribe me onto my YouTube, Kiana the Artist. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenya. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Moving on. Hey, this is a big welcome back. And we have a feature point now. Long time BLOT. I've been with you from pretty much the beginning as well. Before the beginning, before apple pie and things like that. So we're going to read her bio. It's Kelly Van Nelson is the author of 7 books, including #1 contemporary poetry bestsellers, Graffiti Lane, Punch and Judy, and Retrospective, and a new fiction novel entitled The Pinstripe Prisoner. She's a prominent media figure discussing socioeconomics, bullying, domestic violence, and mental health. Her work has featured in numerous publications, and her books are frequently gifted to A-list celebrities, including Academy Award winners. She's a KSP First Edition Fellowship recipient, winner of the Aus Mompreneur Big Idea Changing the World Award, Rose Success Book Best Award, and Most Powerful Influencer Award. She is also a full-time managing director on the executive board of a global organization and was a 2020 CEO Magazine Managing Director of the Year finalist and Telstra New South Wales Businesswomen of the Year finalist. She's represented by the Newman Agency, and above all, she's a top blotter. So very welcome to Kelly Van Nelson.
I feel exhausted listening to that. That's why I don't get to tune in too often. I am still in the corporate world, and most Monday mornings I'm on a flight, so it's really tricky to dial in, but I'm so happy to see Leslie and Jeff and Doc and lots of familiar faces, and to hear such great poetry. So thanks for having me back, Finn. It's been way too long. I thought I'd do a bit of a set with an opening and a closing of prose and some poetry in the middle, because I flip between the two with the writing styles. And yeah, I don't know which is my preference, but I thought I'd sandwich the poetry in the middle, if that's okay with you all. And I thought I'd go with a bit of chronological order through little snippets from each of the books, and yeah, just give you a complete mix. So I'm going to start off with a little piece called Silver Lining. It's a mental health piece, and it was published by the mental health organization called Lapidus, and it also was in my first book, Graffiti Lane, which is that one. This is a little bit of prose. The silver helium balloon has been shriveling over the last few days. It was hand-delivered, tied to a beautiful bouquet, the only flowers I've received lately that weren't weaved into a wreath. So thoughtful of my sister to send them a few weeks after Mark's funeral. She's an angel. The kindness from everyone else has faded. No more casseroles left on my front step. People have their own problems to deal with. Not that I'm seeking ongoing sympathy, but becoming a widow in my 20s was so unexpected. Pull my blonde hair into a ponytail. Feels greasy. Can't remember when I washed it. I took on a tracksuit in my runners, forced myself to venture out to pick up groceries. When I get to the mall, I'm drawn to a gift shop selling candles and condolences cards. I end up buying another silver helium balloon. When I get home, I'm unable to stop crying as I stare at it. After a while, I get up and fetch a carving knife from the block in the kitchen, thinking about slicing into my wrists. Instead, I poke a tiny hole in the neck of the balloon and put my mouth over it. I suck the air out, hoping to become light enough to float up to heaven to see the mark. Instead, I become lightheaded and laugh in high-pitched hysteria alone in my apartment. So glad the helium balloon has a silver lining. That's that one to open up, called Silver Lining. I'm going to go into a poem now as well from Graffiti Lane, just a short little one. This one is about domestic violence, and it's called Padlock. When we first met, you discovered the combination to open me up. I gave you the key that gave you permission, without probation, to come and go in my life as you pleased. You locked me up tight, ignored my fight, taking away my freedom, wrapped me in chain, smothered me in pain, wearing me down to the concrete ground. It's time to change the combination. No procrastination, to something only I know, before it's 6 feet under where my broken body is found. Nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors, crawling on all fours, so I'm opening mine on the page to combat your rage. These words are my ticket from deadlock, scraping rust from the padlock. The final act is to bolt. Who will get there first? That's that one. Come back on some oldies then. I think someone's not on mute. I can hear a bit of background noise. If you could just put it on mute. Not sure. Thank you. All right. I'm going to move on to another domestic violence poem. It's called Mummified, and this one was from my second book called Punch and Judy, which is poetry. I think I might have done this way back on BLOT. I've been, yeah, as Finn said, on since the very beginning, I think since 2019 or whatever Finn started. So another little oldie called Mummified. I wanted us to last forever, to leave our mark in history as the invincible couple who never crumbled. I wanted hieroglyphics to tell our love story rather than proclaim the writings on the wall. I wanted us to be preserved, our relationship mummified, but it unraveled when I needed the bandages to soak up the blood of my wounds. I wanted us to be forgotten, for our ruins to be buried so deep underground no archaeologist could ever dig up evidence of the mess we created. I wanted nothing more from you the day you left me in a tomb with nothing but the curse of our memories to remind me I was not dead. All right, I'm going to do something a bit happier now, a poem called Weather Girls. And it's from my third book called Retrospective, which is this one. And this book, I'm from Newcastle upon Tyne. I wrote retro just looking back at urban life in the 80s growing up in the Northeast on a council estate, and a little bit of 80s influence of music in this one. It's called The Weather Girls. For all the girls who held my hand as I cried over a boy who broke my heart, or crawled on all fours trying to drown the pain out, gratefully accepting the tissue from your clutch to mop mascara streaming down my cheeks. You are my umbrella. For all the girls who stood by my side as I unpicked words, spat in anger, and I floundered in the pathway to forgiveness, or choked as I swallowed my pride to apologize. You are my umbrella. For all the girls who danced with me to the tune of music, celebrating the beat of living in the moment, relishing being young, free, and stupid, never judging mistakes, but helping me avoid another tangle with a snake. You are my umbrella. For all the girls who shared a cocktail and swallowed a maraschino cherry of a story, swearing to never break girl code and a pact you have kept until this day. You are my umbrella. For all the girls who know me not as anything other than a poet on a page, or the voice trying to mend a lifelong sore throat by pulling swollen tonsils out with an open mic, and have been cheering me on from the sidelines. You are my umbrella. For all the girls who tilt their face to the sky in appreciation of the sun coming after the rain, before turning to the girl on the sideline reflecting a dose of the light onto them to assist their growth. We don't need an umbrella. We are the weather girls. All right, Finn, I'm going to do a little bit of new stuff. So a couple that are, just written over the last 6 months. So I've been sort of traveling with the work day job. Bit of a mix in these as well. This one's called Motherhood. New shit. I'm the mother from the hood who once stood misunderstood in the classroom of geography, yet nobody could read my calligraphy or pinpoint my soul on the map. I was left-handed, disbanded, 13-year-old stranded from the mean girls with straightened out curls, scoring on goals with the teacher, a preacher putting 80% feature on popular kids never sentenced to detention, not the 20% rejection, silent in vocal projection as she screamed, "Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone. Throw the rest of us a bone by turning over unmarked stone to nourish deteriorating minds so they mature, mitigating youth becoming skeleton premature in the dark, unforgiving earth that can never emulate Mother Earth, absent back home for those who roam alone in the hood." Got another new one. This one's called Weary Feet. It's just been published in quite a major Prime magazine called Mind Foods. So yeah, it is published, but it's pretty new. I think I wrote this a couple of months ago and it just got picked up. It's called Weary Feet. Weary feet walk the street home to school without the beat of a mother's heels trying to keep me from straying along the track, along the back of allotments growing weed. Temptation never came to fruition for fear of taking the heat from the back of her hand and a red raw streak across the cheek of a young face bleak from invisible tears. They were clad in brown, fake leather derry boots, travelling footprints in the snow, even though I had no place to go because running would have been no mean feat when I needed to survive, not face defeat by putting myself onto the street, even though it had a welcome mat at the door, waiting for me to wipe the ice-cold slush remnants from my weary feet. Short on that one. Something else I've been doing is going back to study a little bit, and I did a nice poetry course, actually, if anyone wants to study online with California Institute of the Arts, which is one of the top creative unis in the world. I did the poetry course with my son, who's also writing, and this little poem is something that's spat out of one of the workshops. I love writing with metaphors, and this one is called "The Keyboard is an Armored Tank." Stained fingertips bleed raw as they claw back to tap, irreversible instructions instigating war. Enter, key loading lethal bullet in the hold, camouflaged behind overworked khaki letter. Mental health in stealth, no peaceful wealth, poised to hose down the next casualty, leaving them ravished, abandoned beneath enemy treads, rolling over corpse with brutal force, no remorse in a field where peacekeeping is buried below earth. Scattered with dry poppy petals, red carpet laid for uniformed survivors on the winning side of mahogany desk, monitored by general rules. Casting shadows of doubt over wires crossed, begging for traumatic memories to be drugged and unplugged, but the computer says no. Refusing to succumb to Control Alt Delete as the tank rolls on to lecture the meek, unsuspecting replacement recipient, new participant on war without peace, preparing for the next shift. That's my little corporate and war poem rolled into one. I've got a couple more, and then I'm going to do a bit more back into the prose, but this one's called The Price of Silence, another newbie. Black and blue collar, thigh, free of cellulite, smooth with youth yet marred by aged hand, commanding fear as a lone tear, calves clean, streaked and dirty face. The only giveaway above skirt waist, that this human race of inherited parenthood is not all it's cracked up to be on the outside, when behind closed doors, Mama leaves Baba crawling on all fours under scratched pine kitchen table, where cruelty can no longer reach to teach respect. Red or dead, eyes bleary, afforded no respite from unachievable workload distributed by highly paid tyrant, squeezing blood from unturned stone of silent migrant, trying to please, to appease commanding officer, demanding excess labor from cheap slave, left with no choice but to cave at the mercy of 9 to 5, whip cracked with quip at new recruits' expense. Black and white lies blurred by grey demise from 50 shades of unwanted praying palms, preventing any chance of keeping advances at arm's length, when strength of character is outweighed by power of rank and the wrath of an NDA, preventing the basic right to say anything other than silence. I've got another 2 poems, Finn, if that's okay. This is another little shorty. I just wrote it for a charity event called The Art of Poetry, where we had to match our poetry to some beautiful artwork, and it was auctioned off to raise money for a really good cause here in Australia. Another little short one, it's called The Tree of Emotion. We were roots once, buried in the darkness of blinkered passion, limbs so intensely intertwined with one another, it was impossible to distinguish black lace from white skin as we writhed in the dirt of 50 shades of grey, 6 feet under beneath the surface. We were roots once, ill-equipped to forge our own separate paths, resilient on one another to grow, collectively combating turbulent conditions, stronger in our convergence, hiding from the threat to our existence of floods and bushfires beneath the surface. We were roots once, until we determined to burst the bubble of 2, letting the world in so we could spawn brighter seeds of human connections, reproducing an array of colourful emotions, afraid to be seen as our love bloomed beneath the surface. We were roots once, exploring one another in isolated early relationship phase, until we embraced the natural beauty of life, branching from foundational groundwork, able to weather 4 seasons, providing stability for others to perch on our blossoming treetop above the surface. Last poem. I'm going to do one. I think I've done this one before on BLOT. It's kind of new, maybe a year old or so. It's going back to my childhood, and I'll finish with this one before I do the poetry from the prose from the new book. It's called The Streets. The streets are empty, no sign of life except for the movement of last night's newspaper blowing in the breeze, soaked with vinegar and stained with grease, from battered fish and chips that passed the lips of a young girl hungry for nourishment of a home-cooked meal, settling for deep-fried sustenance, because she can't even reach the stovetop to try and warm a tin of baked beans, and nobody ever taught her to cook because even her mama doesn't know how to knock up a meal or read to a child a book before bed, as a parent never pedigree bred, nor adequately well-read herself. The streets are shadows, cast down alleyways with uncharted dark corners to navigate, beside scuttling spiders trying to bait the innocent into a tangled web of doubt where the bulbs of lampposts have long since burned out, and the people once hitting pavement no longer go out, because it's too dangerous to go about daily business without fear of being mugged of a purse filled with nothing but a few coins, since unemployment doesn't adequately reimburse anyone but the criminals who try to coerce. The bag dangling from your shoulder as they scare you with the glint of their eye, so far gone from a catcher in the rye, their innocent lost too soon, to Borstal because they set out to steal the silver spoon, always destined to be missing at birth, coming up empty-handed and red-handed from nothing but hollow turf. Wars. The streets are unyielding, concrete slabs trodden on by foot soldiers marching about their business in steel caps and fluorescents, earning their keep, fighting to keep their children asleep in the trenches beneath threadbare cotton sheets, where the union is a weapon in the war to make two ends meet. And the enemy of debt can never retreat and is always beat down to a pulp, stamped out beneath weary feet, trying to avoid falling between the wise cracks filled with chewed up gum, and the pun about the bum who cannot make a decent living immortalized in the past, present, and future proofed, labeled with the unforgiving truth, a dead man walking. The streets are gold-plated, unabated treasure filled with riches beyond the dollar, invisible to the naked eye, unable to see beneath graffitied veneer the sheer value in being the deer in the headlights of the luxury vehicle rear, parked in private driveways, petitioning to make the highway on only one side of the tracks to avoid unwanted hacks on their tarmac from the poor. The streets are truth, the harsh reality of have and have-nots, sunburnt in the harsh glare of neon lighting, blinking while clinging to hope. One letter missing because society finally broke the flow of electricity, keeping life pulsing through the vein of commoners who will never reign, but are the grain needed to remain sustainable in this unrecognizable world we have claimed as home, while walking alone along the path to divine destiny with directions carved by hand to avoid sinking in quicksand. I am the streets. All right, I'm going to finish off. So yeah, book number 7. This is my first novel. So yeah, it's called The Pinstripe Prisoner, and I've been writing this book for more than a decade. It started out as a piece when I was living in South Africa, and I ended up going into a prison there to do some research and started writing about prison reform and about the impact of violent crime on mental health. And the book was formed. So yeah, it's been a long time coming, this one. I'm going to finish off. I started with prose, going to finish with prose, and this is the first couple of pages of The Pinstripe Prisoner. The ace of spades is tucked behind a queen and king of the same suit, and I know I'm in with a chance. My eyes blink once, an uncontrollable reflex, but every other muscle remains still. The back of my throat is dry, but I hold back from gulping to avoid my Adam's apple giving the game away. My hand is kept close to my chest. That's pretty much the way I like to live life. Always one for pulling my weight around the house, I've stocked the braai with Roykran's wood, and we're sitting out back enjoying a lazy afternoon with the fire crackling away. Pa has a poikie simmering over glowing coals he's piled to one side. He has a knack of pulling the coals from the heart of flames when they're perfect temperature for the cast iron pot. Oxtail stew has always been my older brother's favourite. Yaku likes to suck the bones to get every bit of flavour out. He's driven home from Cape Town for the weekend, enjoying time off from medical school. Every so often, Pa lifts the lid off with his tongs and Ma gives the pot a stir with her wooden spoon. It's impossible not to smile at her looking so happy in a brightly coloured floral dress with the apron I bought her last Mother's Day tied over the top. It says Dad's the boss, unless Ma is home. Between the synchronised stirring, my parents sip their wine and take turns at cards, both in their element, since Ma loves rummy and Pa loves red wine. A second bottle of pinotage is opened. Wine doesn't hang around in our house long enough to catch dust. Remember the first time you drank this stuff, Simon? Pa asks me. It was a few years ago now. You were underage, Yaku points out. Only just, I say. You were barely old enough yourself. I recall Pa pouring me a glass only half full. I took a swig and spluttered while Yaku slapped me on the back to help clear the pathway for another mouthful. Then I gulped down the rest and tried not to grimace. You pair haven't looked back since I introduced you to the finer things in life. Pa swirls his glass and sniffs it. Heavenly. He likes to think he's a connoisseur, but he just knows what he likes. Keeping a straight face, I put down a triple spades and take the game. No way, Yaku grumbles as Ma shuffles the deck and deals another round. We trade duplicates and start quickly since the family are keen to redeem their losses. Occasionally, I question Ma's rules of the game, but she doesn't budge an inch. In my house, we play rummy my way, she says. Her apron did warn us. I play a joker hand and thrash them again, fist pumping as I get up from the table. Ma gives me a hug and Pa applauds. That's my boy, he says, taking a sip of red. That's it, Simon, Yaku declares. We're off to Maxwell's, and you're buying. I clink his glass, delighted to have beaten my older Buta at something. You boys have already had a wine, Ma warns. Don't be drinking and driving. I've not had much. I'm fine to drive there, Yaku says as I clear away the dishes to save Ma a job. Pa, will you fetch us later if we leave the car there? As long as it's not too late. Pa replies. I'm going to stop there with a little bit of drink driving prelude. Yeah, and thank you all for tuning in. It's been way too long, and yeah, appreciate the slot, Finn.
Thank you very much. A great set. Thank you. Oh, excuse me. Thank you very much. That was really, really excellent.
Bravo. Bravo, Kelly.
Hello, hello. Good to see you, Leslie.
Wonderful to see you.
Yeah, thanks. Been stupidly hectic. But yeah, at least I'm still writing.
Wonderful.
Excuse me, will I die here? Excuse me.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. And Kelly's making a homecoming visit to Newcastle upon Tyne on the 9th of October next month. So if anyone's in the northeast of England, it's at 9th of October at 12 o'clock at the Saba Italian Tapas Bar. Yeah, I've got it all here
Exactly,
in front
spot
of
on.
me. Yeah.
That's my first time home in years, actually, so it'll be really, really good. There, my work is sending me to Oxford University, which is super exciting for a girl who had zero education when I was young. And I'm squeezing in Newcastle on the trip, so it'll be so good getting a gig in.
That's really odd. I mean, it's like, I know it's a big country, but 2 Australians coming up because Skylar's over here at the same time as well. It's the same time in October too. I don't know where she is at that day, like, but she's
Yeah, I
over
must
here
message
too.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
nice.
Yes. It's great seeing blotters traveling all over the world now. You know, had Bob Whelan was over here for the festival, the other week, and I noticed he's over in Greece for another festival today. Man, that's jet setting. That is like. Anyway, thank you very much, Kelly. It's great to see
Thank
you.
you.
Good
Thanks,
to hear
Finn.
you again. Thank
Thanks,
you very much
everyone.
indeed. All right, let's move on. Peter, right? Are you ready, sir?
Yes, thank you, Finn. Thanks very much. Hello, everyone. It's been a wonderful night of poetry so far, and a great star feature there. So it's I'll try to give you a couple of poems just now. The first one's from it was published a few years ago in a literary magazine called Laldy, which you might guess is a Scottish word. And this was called Because They Had To. Thus, travelling once in a caravan of camel, the privileged, seeking wisdom, are led by the stars to yet another privilege, an ancient breathing Orient Express predestined for an unexpected birthplace, which offers infant shelter, more or less. In earlier times, a nation travels, the dispossessed seeking freedom are led from Pharaoh to another land. Much and much later, on a more recent day, the death camp train is not the Orient Express. Superior orders take their breath away. Climbing balconies to a bargain of bedrooms, Casanova seeking an opening follows his untamed serpent to another risky coupling. His orientation, an irrefutable need to attempt to re-enter the warm safety of uterogestation. Climbing precipices to the treacherous beauty of snowstorms, the adventurous seeking challenge, facing cold white confrontation, dig in against nature. When orienteering fails, a snowhole refuge is a place for waiting and fearing. Wandering now, midst a growing internation, the rejected seeking shelter through blizzards of indifference, refugees of a former humanity, denied a roof or denied a mother, disoriented spin towards a destination in one kind of box or another. Okay. And next one's published a bit more recently in an anthology called Carlton Cayley. And I think I don't need to give any explanation. It's called Even Before the Robots. Even before the robots took over, we were putty in their artificial hands. They didn't even mean to do it. They didn't know how to until we showed them. We did it to ourselves. Laying out our brains upon the altar, we left them no choice. There was a time before the bots took charge when there was time to do something about it. But we were busy blaming humans who came to our land, some because they wanted to, others because they wanted to be safe. All of them wanted to make their lives better. Some of them possessing experience and qualifications we lacked. These incomers, skilled and talented, had the temerity to impress at interview, were given well-paid jobs we could not do. Others took jobs we did not want. Cleaning, caring, essential and compassionate jobs. Cooking, serving, offering people hospitality jobs. Requiring charm instead of snarling jobs. And low-paid, looked down upon jobs. While we complained about them, taking jobs we didn't want or couldn't do, or attacked them for saving their lives or ours, the robots loved the chaos manufactured by small minds. Then, when shops and homes were set on fire, when we focused on colour of skin, religious persuasion, or other human difference, when intolerance finally turned to blood, we hardly even noticed the changing of the guard. Thank you all very much.
Cheers, Peter. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, sir. Great stuff. Great stuff. Glad you could make it. All right. Next up, he's new to performing on Zoom, but he's not a new blotter because he's done a few live shows and he was here at the last Zoom just listening in. So please welcome Joe. He's not paying attention.
I do have something ready. Ashley was, can you hear me okay? Because I haven't used this headset before.
Yeah, we can hear you, Joe. It's fine.
And also, I'm totally unprepared because I hadn't noticed I was supposed to be saying anything. But I do happen to have a couple of things I was working on today. If you would like to hear a couple of things that are not quite finished. And I'd like to maybe start with this one called The Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. It's a bit reflective of when I was young and the way life sometimes takes us in ways that we're maybe not expecting. I lived between the devil and the deep blue sea. I didn't know between the two halves of me who I should be. The wind of change stroked my face while unseen urges pulled me in opposite ways. The urges were strong, tidal, currents that consumed and swept all along. Adventure. Young men need adventure and excitement. Young men are built and designed to have it, driven by desire and testosterone, reckless and unafraid of bullets, yet so fragile with hidden fears and thoughts and vulnerable to the slipping knot. Like lunar tide again, the urges came in waves. Where should this young man find his relief? Hidden in normality, where difference is weakness and plain to see, unless you can hide it and make it unseen, and live the lie that suffocates your mind. I loved green and light, all the different greens of the countryside. Has anyone counted the many different shades, I wondered, as I lay amongst it, or waded through it, or looked up through it, and dreamed of making love in it? The grey and honey-coloured sandstone and the ingrained sooty black of the town had its own austere beauty and allure. It tempted and beckoned, and offered and bribed, and oh, how it lured. Splashes of green peekabooed amongst the black and honey and grey, green that waved and said hello to me, shyly. The town was a mongrel bitch, available to all and satisfied an itch. It was dangerous and conniving, a con artist, and used to surviving on its lies and wit. It was a maze, a conundrum. It made promises it instantly forgot and abandoned like kittens in an oil drum. The town was harsh, always bustle and crush, people deafened, blinkered in their rush. What made beggars with nowhere to live think that one day they would be noticed or given sympathy? And what difference would one new boy make to the daily grind? It took so long to learn. But it always takes an unwilling mind longer to learn, and some never do. Some never leave, not of their own free will or intentionally. You can get used to grime and pain and disdain after a time, until it becomes a way of life, like prison. So the trick, sorry, something happened to my screen here. So the trick is to not get settled and to not forget what you had before and what you wanted years ago. I loved green, the green of the leaves high up in the trees, and I liked to be clean, clean and fresh as the air under a falcon's wing, as oxygenating as a crystal spring. Tides come in and tides go out. Minds change and so do doubts into certainty. Mists lift, sands shift and become concrete level. I learned to learn and listen to the urges as they came and agreed to be tamed like wild horses. And can I read another one, Finn, or is one enough?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did that come through okay, Finn?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
can I read another one?
Yeah, of course you can, yeah.
It's quite long though, is that okay?
I'll just go for it.
I could read the short one if you prefer. I'll read the short one. Who gets the blame, it's called.
All right, okay.
Who gets the blame? Who gets the blame and the shame when the game is played out again? Because you know, it always ends this way. What happened to the choices from all the men you knew in the houses of cards where dreams didn't come true? Your dark glasses are no use in the gloom of the moon glow in your rented room, for red-rimmed eyes and bruised skin given by the enemy that was within. The tender demands gradually less tender, love bite or bite-sized bruise. Who got to choose and who had to lose again? Who gets the blame and the shame?
Thanks, Joe. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Glad to come along, Joe Walsh. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Moving on, a second BLOT proper debut, live or otherwise. Would you please welcome Veronica?
Hi, everyone. I'm just having some technical difficulties here. Okay, there we go. Hello. It's been so inspiring. Thank you, Finn, for having me here. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. And thank you to Therese, who I met in Paris. So I'm in Paris right now. So bisous from Paris, and I'm more of a songwriter than a poet. So I'm going to be singing a song I recently wrote. Okay, here we go. So. Poor porcupine, she lost her spikes. Where did they go? Where did they go? Now there's nothing to separate her from wind and ice. Don't go too slow, don't go too slow. She needs warmth, she needs affection and not advice. Don't go too slow, don't go too slow. For her softness she is paying a heavy price. She's on her own, she's on her own. Oh, she could stop her buying. Look at what she bought. It's not lack of trying, always what she saw. Miracle camaraderie could rescue her. She's on her knees now. It's nothing she was taught. Poor porcupine, she lost her spikes. Where did they go? Where did they go? If you rub her the wrong way, it'll feel like a knife. Out of control, out of control. She needs warmth, she needs affection and not advice. Don't go too slow, don't go too slow. For her softness she is paying a heavy price. Voila. Thank you. I hope thank you. I hope the mix was okay. I've got this very great microphone here. Yeah, I'm jealous, Finn, of your setup.
It worked fine. It was great. Thank you very much, Monica.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And welcome to BLOT.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right, here's the man of the moment, the slam champion. Please welcome Gerald.
Hi, everyone. So I want to tell you about this because if you're in England, this will be really useful news. Asda, cheapest loo roll is strawberry and watermelon, enriched with a sweet and fruity fragrance. I kid you not.
I'm going to ask that tomorrow. I'll check it out.
This is called strawberry and watermelon loo roll, and it's uplifting at the moment. To alleviate the present crisis and to ensure our customers' hygiene and comfort, we have reduced the price of strawberry and watermelon loo roll, making it the cheapest on offer, and would you credit it, less expensive than loo roll of such infusions. So, as you sit in the smallest room, do not worry. The price of loo roll is frozen. The impact of double-digit inflation has been negated. Monetary policy and fiscal prudence made irrelevant. Even if gas prices rise or biscuits become unaffordable, you can comfort yourself with the soft stroke of strawberry and watermelon loo roll. Forget, while you are in there, the plight of those far away, the looming drone of cruise missiles and cluster bombs, the log jam of trenches holding back Russians in Ukraine, the small matter of nuclear bombs, and if you can believe it, the much greater collateral damage of Eurovision coming to the UK. Forget, while you are relieving yourself quietly and without stress, the Chinese flying over Taiwan, the Americans telling them not to, the short stretch of water between Beijing and the largest semiconductor factory in the world. A shortage of semiconductors will not impact on the price of strawberry and watermelon loo roll. We promise you that. Remember that. Oops. Remember that, where as in the past you suffered from mellifluous odours rising like a prime ministerial candidate from your lavatory bowl, now, thanks to our astonishing pricing strategy, you can bask in the unguent bliss of our latest special edition product. Forget your cynicism about national insurance cuts. Forget about Brexit or hopes of a post-COVID boom, missed opportunities to stock up on winter candles and extra thick duvets. Rest, relax, even as the last strips are flushed away and your posterior is, like the rest of your closet, suffused with fruity aromas. Put your fingers out, feel the texture, sniff your hands if you like. All is verdant. Nothing can trouble you here. Oh, if only all the world could be as beneficent as us, the whole of creation washed in the maternal generosity of grocery providers, who, through forward-looking innovation, factory efficiencies and logistical brilliance sprinkled over with ruthless cost-cutting and supply chain efficiencies, are bringing forward a nirvana of eternal toilet roll consumption, one tear-off piece at a time. Be at peace, be at one. Be all those things you read of on Facebook posts about mindfulness. Be uplifted, be meditative. We're so thankful you purchased our product, and you should be thankful too. No need to pull your trousers up. No need to open the door. No need to face reality. It's probably just a dream. What is real is strawberry and watermelon loo roll. Thank you very much. That's me.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. Strawberry and watermelon. Well, the person that invented that is bad enough, but the person that went to the boss and says, I've got an idea, and the boss goes, roll with it. No pun intended, by the way, roll with it. Thank you very much, Gerald. Thank you. Okay. Hey ho, hey. It's Leslie.
Is that me with an added something or other?
No, it's you. It's you.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Wow, what a great evening. So great to see you again, Kelly. Wow, this is a lovely set. Okay, I'm going to read three, two short and one sort of mediano. So the first one is called Night River. I'm willing to go down the layers, to go down and keep going, Who will come with me until I hit bottom, until there is no more, until I pass over that line of safety, the possibility of no more? Who will come with me on the way down? When you go down, you climb down the dark ladder into the basement of the soul. What do you see as you go down? The touch of what? The touch of no air, the touch of the tomb. This, the soul's fetid essence of much, too much on the way down, going down before you. You do not have to say. It is not for me to know, but only what I know myself of this. It is your journey down to know or not, to realize in its dark brilliance the illumination of your shadow and not mine. When you come back, if you come back up, that you travel with the essence. You of you is all that is needed. You, the other, co-joined as twin again. The mother womb, the room of earth with its dark seedling to take root and grow intertwined with you. The darling that birthed as complete and whole as one, you emerge from the dark earth and into sunlight, birthed finally, you shine. And then the next one is called, I don't think I've ever read this silly one. It's called Moon Bath. The silver bodies dance in the moonlight, bathed by the moon, unafraid of the darkness which surrounds them. The schizophrenic, that which I am not, might wear the stereotyped little tinfoil hat to block out the rays. The celestial messages, the flotsam and jetsam, hurtling at us at the speed of light, full throttle, but rather not protected nor hiding. I accept all aspects of sun, its magnificence that reaches out for us, its long, long fingers caressing and teasing us with its heat. It is okay, finally, that I lose you, after all. Just because we are a perfect fit does not mean that we cannot say goodbye, that you are lost to me and I cannot find you again. That which is together by nature, the moon and the sky, cannot be apart. And finally, I'm going to read this, again, something I've never read, because it's pretty private, but I think as a poet, it's important to, I mean, that's what we do. We share all that that's inside with everyone, because we know that all of it, even which we think is private, is simply universal, because we're all human beings. So this one, today is my my dear cousin Jeff Evans' birthday. He was Canadian. And he passed away a year ago. So today is his birthday. And as it is with grief sometimes, you're sort of rendered speechless. But I think as a poet, the muse gets into gear and helps us with the words coming to us so that we understand a little bit more things that are without words and ineffable. So here it is. It's called The Mothers. The mothers will hold you in rapt embrace. Gathered for you, they will have you now. Holding you, the swaddled one, knowing your need for stillness, wrapped, a swaddling now again, to hold you, the swaddled one. Hold still, the mothers say. You need to be nowhere but here, unmoving, and we with you in your stillness of being. There is nowhere you need to be, but here with us for now, for now. Hold still, and we sing to you the songs of our heart to be with and rest in yours. Be still, we will tell you the stories of us all for you to hear, for you to know, that will find the place deep in your being and teach you the stillness that is part of the life, the pauses between movement, sun and moon, the moment of balance, the stasis of the still spot, the where you can slake your thirst in the desert, the oasis of being in the desert where you find yourself, the over-hot desert that is lived life at moments. We will remind you of the things you love, which bring you comfort, the fruits gathered to you to be there at your side, the scented blooms which quiet the mind to bring you the stillness you need, and we will hold you tighter still than the swaddling and rock you, lulling your mind to be the still pool that ripples only when we, the sisters that are breeze, breathe as breeze and whisper your name on the breeze across the still pond. Close your eyes and be still. Dream your dreams to travel across the night sky and with the stars. Be the stars and come back to yourself, the you that is with us, protected by us, wholly in us. Then wake in yourself again, ready for your life and live. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. It's always lovely. Always lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Leslie is one of the, I think, 6 people on the screen tonight who has a poem in I Ache in the Places I Used to Play book, which is out right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
And someone is not in it, but she's got her own book coming out next year, I think it is. You please welcome a pal, Kelly.
Hello, poetry family. How are we doing? Congratulations on the release of the book with probably the best name ever, Fed. It's just brilliant. Copy's not here yet, but I'm hoping it gets here soon. I can't wait to read it. I actually wasn't going to read this one until Leslie spoke those sentiments before our last poem. And I thought I'm going to read this one because it sort of ties in with that quite nicely. And it's called An Elixir for the Brokenhearted. Brave and bitter hearts transmute the most powerful poetry. Alchemizing sonnets serve to seep a subtle comfort, like words spinning hunger into grains of spiritual sustenance. They feed something that's unverbalized, yet felt in its entirety. When sentences are formed from the very lowest of vibrations, they sing true of that feeling when you're standing all alone, peering straight down the road, leading into a nightmare, and watching the streetlights blink out one by one. And I'm going to read 2 more. They're quite short, these ones, so I'm just going to read a couple. This one is called 5 of Cups. An anticlimactic crescendo roars as puzzle pieces melt like grey ash in muddy rain. I pine deep within the loneliness. Perhaps I'll wallow here for just a moment longer, dreaming of soft kisses that never really landed. My heart gives out a twitch and spins like a marble within my empty chest. Just how cruel must my tortured mind be for it to keep conjuring sudden memories of how your skin smells in the dark. And then this last wee one was Veronica's wee song. I wasn't going to read this one either, but this is a song that I've written that has no melody. And there's a poem in there somewhere, right? A song without a melody. But this is a song. The lyrics are quite simple, but I really hope you enjoy it. It's called Daisy Chains. I know this isn't normal or a healthy thing to do. I can't quite help but spend my midnights daydreaming of you. I made you daisy chains of love notes. They were hand inscribed with wishes. I placed them all into a box and sealed them up with kisses. And I hate the way my stomach drops when the wind whispers your name. Won't someone tell the universe that I quit its cosmic game? These daisy chains of sadness won't stop choking down my heart. They induce waking nightmares where our love is ripped apart. I know this isn't healthy, but there's not much left to do. These memories loom like spectres, haunting me of thoughts of you. Thank you very much, guys. It's been lovely as always.
Thanks, pal. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you. I'll try and go on and see you this week sometimes, but you never know. Cheers. Okay, thank you very much. Who's next? Diane. Are you there, Diane? Bored.
Yes, at first I couldn't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
Can
fine.
you
Thank
hear
you.
me? Okay. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. I'm going to read one piece of mine, and then I'm going to read a piece of a poet. I always like to introduce you to poets. Some of them you probably already know. This young lady just has her book out. It's called Do I Look African Enough? She is a South African poet. Her name is Kimberly Anderson. Her book just came out last month, and I'm going to read her piece first. It's called The Prayer of a Peaceful Fool, and it's in relation to the 2021 South African unrest. Call me the peaceful fool that prays and hope that my plea for peace could reach the ears of God. I tried to raise my voice so that it might be louder than the chants that incite lawlessness and call for war. Louder than the glass doors and windows of stores shattering, louder than the bombs and bullets that rain down on the streets of KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, louder than the sirens that intensify the images in my mind as my country burns. The peace that once was is now filled with the stench of smoke and gunpowder. Day by day, this monster grows, seeking to devour all in its path and waters the soil with blood, only nourishing the seed of hate. I once wrote that I feared for when the ground beneath my feet would start to speak. I also fear that there may no longer be a ground for me to stand on. So I pray. I know my sins are many, and I am not worthy to ask of anything of you, but if you hear me, consider my plea. If I am just a peaceful fool, holding on to hope, hope that we might heal again. I pray the streets are no longer battlefields, that violence is no longer our only form of communication, and destruction is a thing of the past, that growth as a nation is all we strive for. This is a prayer. This is my prayer, the prayer of a peaceful fool. And that's by Kimberly Anderson in her book, Do I Look African Enough? I'm going to read one short piece of mine. And I believe I read this before, but in light of all that has been happening environmentally, and you know, it's amazing, some people might still have some doubt about our environment and what's going on. Well, just look around the world. This was written for Earth Day this year, and the Benicia Tuesday evening monthly group, Benicia, California group, asked, what does it mean living on Earth now in the present? So this is what I wrote. This orb, glistening blue and green, protected by air columns artificially transfixed for us, this orb gliding upon the web of space like a toy in the hands that made her. This orb slowly we strangle. We suffocate by our waste, greed, amorous disregard, and sloth. This orb surviving on life support because of us, the virus, that she required we wear KN95s to protect us from the virus she made to get us to work together and almost failed to do. The lesson this orb tried to teach us to live as shared species, across, around, within her, but I digress. This orb we need to soothe back to health. Give her our respirators. She needs to wear a KN95 from us, the virus that kills her. This orb is the patient we infect with our noise and fights and threats. This orb is where I live, with you, and her resuscitation requires teamwork. I can't breathe. Echoes from street death to sky. This colored orb cries the same. I can't breathe. So by default, we don't either. Thank you. Thank you, Finn.
Thank you, Diane. Always. I love the fact you always bring somebody else's work to the show as well. That's just perfect, I think. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Hey, next up. We'll be joining fellow blotter and next week when Clive goes over to meet with us. Please welcome Jane. Woo!
Me?
No, Jane, spoken
Oh,
word.
okay. Sorry.
I'm ready. Thank you, everybody, for having me. It's been a great night. Thanks, Finn, for inviting me. I'm going to do two pieces. The first piece is called I Am a Poet. I am a poet. I am the air that I breathe. I am the words that I think. I will take you to the brink. Don't blink. Drink it in. Poetry is revolution. Word is the sound solution. Free you from the institution. I am ghosting the machine. I will wake you from your dream. I will wake you. I pen lines with a stroke. I spit rhymes when I toke. Inner fires I will stoke cause I ain't no joke. I am a poet. I float bars when I write. Open doors, shine a light. Free your mind, free your might. You are what you think. You think what you are. And poetry is revolution. Word is the sound solution. Free you from the institution. I am ghosting the machine. I will wake you from your dream. I will wake you. I will wake you. I am what I know. I am what I sow. I am a revolutionary poet wrapped in a straitjacket, and I will wake you from your dream. And I will free you from their scheme. And I will wake you. And I will wake you. For my second piece, it's kind of an introduction to who I am for those of you who don't know me. And you can catch me on IG. I'm Jane Spoken Word. Again, thank you for having me, Finn. Liberated by the written word, I am not my past life blurred. Despite what you heard, my future transferred from a dactylogram of the past. Now at last, I am this body. I am these emotions. I am the immortal story. I am the beauty in imperfection. Liberated from the shadows of dark, from a tortoiseshell safety I depart. Like an abandoned bus at the station park, a poet of the street beat, I'm a motherfucking warrior. I sharpen my pen and I shatter all barriers. Poetry released from an incarcerated mind, floating bars, I did my time. Getting back to my spit with some new shit, writing poems for everyone, all my relations, my ancestors of the sun. Who but the rhymer will bring truths to bear? Who but the rhymer verse tragedies of despair? Pens dipped in the blood of suffering hearts, cursing deceptions, tearing lives apart, tumbling words that dangle in my throat, conjuring remedies and antidotes, bleeding out into rivers of ink, drowning in rhymes of missing links, where heaven meets hell, no time to think. Collecting dreams from broken machines, dripping metaphors and scorching similes, haunting the streets with spoken word poetry. I spit shit you don't want to hear. I spit rhymes to strip you bare. I'm as harmless as a neutron bomb. I'll hit your shit with chloroform. I'm your audacious, bodacious, beautiful sister. You better fucking know, this sister don't whisper. Peace, yo. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Always welcome. Always love when you come on the shows. Yeah. Thank you. Great. Okay. Better late than never. Sleepyhead. Welcome. Sylvia Ang.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can
I
you?
can
You, Sylvia.
Okay, I start my point. I'm reading a childhood point. The name is called The Train Ride by Sylvia Angley King at Poetry Experiment. As I got up the MRT train at Serangoon MRT, in came my father, a discipline master. He will cane me if I don't finish my homework on time. Ask me how I learned my English. He alighted. At Bartley MRT, in came my mother, a motherly figure. She'll cook cabbage rice, porridge with preserved vegetable, salted eggs, peanuts, and luncheon meat. Hand wash my clothing by the cherry tree. Give me a burnt testament in water to drink from the medium in the temple when I was sick. She alighted. At Tai Seng MRT, in came my elder sister, who carried me around in the kampong when I was a toddler, spooning me peanut porridge. Watch me learn to walk each time I fall in the sand. She alighted. At McPherson MRT, in came my younger brother, who followed me for brisk walk at Botanic Garden. Watch him play marble with his bunny. Brought him to watch spider in a matchbox. He alighted. There are people in our life that teach us, mold us, make us whole. Others came to teach us lesson, to change, to better our soul. A review, Lao Ji Sing. Thank you very much for your valuable and encouraging review. Viewer review, Lao Ji Sing, The Train Ride, Poetry Experiment. Your above piece of writing is probably the best one which you have done thus far. What is great about the particular write-up is that you included your actual life experience from your past. This piece of writing is uniquely Singaporean and showcase your own unique signature, tapping into your actual life experience and express it in your writing. This is definitely your best one to advance to your chosen intellectual pursuit. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Vin.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for getting up. We always say better late than never. Thank you very much indeed, my friend. Cheers. Thank you. Okay. Right, we have a couple of moving on to a couple of new first-time blotters tonight. So would you please welcome first one, Elizabeth Carey. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello there, everyone. I have had problems off and on all evening with Zoom, so I must apologise for not being able to comment on so many wonderful poets that I've heard this evening. You've all been absolutely amazing, and the inspiration that I'm getting from you, I can't even put into words what it feels like. And thank you, Finn, for hosting this. There's quite a theme running through tonight, and I would like to start off with one poem called The Gift. What is this thing that drives me to burning the midnight oil, to sitting upright in bed, pajama clad, eating homemade strawberry jam and toast for breakfast, savouring each tasty morsel, doing a balancing act between plate and Chromebook? The thoughts churn out and have to be recorded. The fervour of creating, like a frenzy in my soul on one hand, yet organised, structured on the other. The driving force is the desperate need to pass on something that leaves a mark, that I lived and loved life. The happy bits, the sad bits, the perplexing bits, the whole kit and caboodle. I can truly say I've loved it all. It's been a hell of a roller coaster ride. It's been gentle, like the painted horses on the merry-go-round. It's been terrifying, like the Jurassic Park ride at Universal Studios. It's been exciting, like the Twister. It's been challenging, like the Dodgems. It's been funny, like the Crazy Mirrors. Is it the nature of John Knox and Calvin reincarnated in me? The need to spread the words, not hide them under a bushel? I suppose what I'm trying to say is, before I leave this earth, my aim is to record all measure of feelings and emotions, to give a sense of purpose to the life in this 74-year-old body. Do we feast daily on nature's beauty? Do we attempt to make sense of our changing world? Perhaps this need in me is being fulfilled now, as my fingers deftly touch each letter on the keyboard, caring not a jot that I'm tucked up in my happy place. No makeup, unwashed, hair tousled, time irrelevant. Time wasting? Certainly not. It's not essential to see the end result. This is my gift to be shared with others, to be given away freely. No need for acknowledgement. Please take it, reflect, then pass it on. The next one is just a very short poem called Tack Tent, and it is in Scots. Oh, michty me, is it getting warmer? Or is it one of the hot flushes again? Oh, they politicians keep biting their gums. We all hate to change our ways. There'll be nothing left for our wains. We keep getting told, oh, that water's got to go somewhere on our planet. Big, scary eruptions, sea levels rising. Oh, they poor folks in all these islands. Life's nae fair. Life's nae equal. We all hae to tak Kent.
Thank you.
Can I do another one? Because I started off this awful political debate thing at the beginning that almost went into a debacle.
That was fun. Go on. Since you did that, yes, go on then.
Right.
You can make amends.
Greed before need. No swimming. Sewage contamination. Southern water notification. No money for maintenance. Shareholders demand profit. Water charges rise with the increasing cost of living. Why is there no accountability? Why are beaches and water unsafe? Swimmers keep their heads above water, above sewage contaminated water as the sludge floats past. Governments appear powerless to question this. Is it unwillingness to challenge? Is it fear of withdrawal of donations? Are they prisoners of the capitalist machine? Profit before people. The thought that the masses won't challenge. Workers tipped over the edge. The stuff of revolution. Civil unrest. What will it take? Forward thinking? Visionaries? Communities standing together, communities looking out for one another, communities caring for the vulnerable. The power struggles in government don't help the situation. This is a global mess. Held to ransom, ideologies entrenched, change is needed. Let's consider need before greed. Let's turn this on its head. Let's develop a conscience. The media is as much to blame. Fear fueled by sensationalistic headlines, reality TV dumbing down the masses. Poets have to speak out. Words like the ripples on a pool spread outwards. History has shown the pen is mightier than the sword. Let's not hold back.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful stuff, Elizabeth. As you. And now, is Stuart still wanting to read?
No, I think he's gone to bed.
All right. Okay. Just one less then. Okay. Thank you.
All
Right.
right.
We'll move on. That's all right. No problem. Haven't got the stamina of the rest of us, has he? No. All right. Let's move on. Okay. Would you please welcome Dick Sargent? Jeff Cottrell.
Okay then. Couple of new pieces I've got. This is called, well, relatively new anyway. This is called Yelp Reviews of Your Pet Guinea Pig. Karen Golden, North Bay, Ontario, 1 star. What a terrible guinea pig. He doesn't even do anything. He just sits there and stares at you. Can't even do any tricks or run on the wheel. What a mess. Gotta do better, guys. You invest more money and time in your guinea pigs, you get better results. It's not that hard. Just get it together. Chad Hahn, Mesa, Arizona, 1 star. And this is in all caps. This guinea pig sucks. What a fucking piece of shit. Call yourself a guinea pig? I hope somebody vacuums it up and it fucking dies. Ugly piece of crap and boring too. Fuck you, bullshit guinea pig. You suck the bag. Kenneth Simpson, Leamington Spa, England, 1 star. I was rather disappointed with his guinea pig. I've met a wide range of guinea pigs all over the world, and while some of them had considerable issues, none of them was as tedious or underwhelming as this one. The animal was not pleasing to the eye, and its interpersonal skills left a lot to be desired as well. I've noted a troubling decline in the quality of guinea pigs over the last 30-some years. One need only look back to the golden age of guinea pigs to find such luminous examples as Chomper in the Hamptons and Inky from the West Midlands. All finely bred guinea pigs with style and wit to spare. I couldn't help yearning for these iconic figures while sacrificing far too much of my precious time with this one. Pathetic, derivative, and uninspired. Becky Kopp, Canberra, Australia, 2 stars. This guinea pig started out well, but it failed to live up to its promise. In the end, there really wasn't anything to distinguish it from all the other guinea pigs out there. Take a tip from someone who's been around, mate. If you want your guinea pig to stand out, you've got to put some work into it. Louise Marie Truffard, La Valette du Var, France, 1 star. The guinea pig is not formidable, is it not? It fills me with all of the fatigue and the ennui. One cannot find the proper words in English to express why the guinea pig is not satisfactory with one's expectations. As the people say in our country, le nez violet donne 3 coups de pied au poulet avant de manger ma teinture pour les cheveux. Jim Backers, Northport, Florida, 2 stars. My wife and I were very disappointed with our trip to Papua New Guinea. There was too much crime and violence. The natives were rude and unsociable, and the food was served in such small portions. If you do end up going there, I suppose you could do worse than touring some of the World War II airplane wrecks under the water, but my wife and I are too old for diving. Next year, we're just going to see Italy again. Greg Jackson, Brooklyn, New York, and 5 stars, and this is also in all caps. OMG, best guinea pig ever! Awesome guinea pig, it's fire! I love it so much I want to marry it. Yeah, man, guinea pig fucking rules. And finally, Sue Bremner from Portage la Prairie, Manitoba, 1 star. Her review is just one word. Why? That was Yelp reviews of your pet guinea pig. I have time for a second one. This one, well, it's kind of new. It's kind of like an old unfinished one that I didn't think was working. And then I came back and I finished it recently. I'm still not sure it's working, but it's called Performance Review. Company name, Planet Earth. Date, August 25, 2022. Regarding Employee Performance Review. Employee number, 77-7777777-777. Employee name, God. Overall performance. During the employee's many years of service with Planet Earth, he has demonstrated remarkable creativity and power at sporadic moments. It is clear that the employee shows a great amount of potential. However, much of the time, he fails to live up to said potential and in fact shows an astonishingly poor attitude towards his professional duties. As a supervisor alone, his lack of concern for the morale and job satisfaction of his underlings is deeply troubling and requires immediate corrective action. Areas of strength. The employee has shown exemplary abilities in the creative and aesthetic aspects of his position. Much of Planet Earth is a visually attractive workspace due to the employee's exceptional and instinctive talents in this area. Areas needing improvement. A serious issue with the employee's work routine, one that cannot be ignored, is that he appears to have severe anger problems. The employee has a troubling habit of spiteful actions towards underlings who have displeased him, often with dire consequences. Planet Earth would like to suggest that the employee enroll in one of our corporate anger management workshops in order to learn how to deal better with these feelings of rage and jealousy, at least in a way that does not disrupt the routine of his colleagues. Equally of concern is that the employee demonstrates a shocking level of indifference towards his underlings, particularly when they are in the greatest need of his assistance. The employee has access to all of his colleagues' requests, pleas, and complaints, yet he deliberately ignores them and even pretends not to have heard them with a disturbing level of frequency, no matter how urgent or consequential the issue at hand. Teamwork is an important component in organizational success, yet the employee appears to be indifferent, even openly hostile, to the concept of serving as part of a team. Related to the indifference problem, but also worthy of separate note, is the employee's constant absenteeism. Indeed, the employee has so rarely shown up to work at Planet Earth in recent years that it is not unusual for his colleagues to question if he even exists. This naturally results in a lack of trust, which is a key element of successful teamwork. Conclusion. While the employee's creative gifts and other strong powers are not to be denied, the company is deeply concerned about his tendencies towards angry outbursts, indifference towards work, and absenteeism. We feel that the employee needs to sit down and contemplate how serious he is about contributing to Planet Earth's welfare and whether he intends to become a more productive and cooperative presence here. Otherwise, we may be forced to take drastic disciplinary measures. We would highly recommend the aforementioned anger management sessions, which will teach the employee more socially acceptable methods of dealing with negative emotions, as well as more positive workplace traits, such as empathy, cooperation, and good sportsmanship. If these issues cannot be corrected in the near future, Planet Earth may be forced to look for a replacement for the employee, or if a satisfactory replacement cannot be found, to terminate the position itself permanently and take its chances without it. End of review. So that was performance review. Some of you know I'm coming to the UK next month with Skylar Winter. We're going on a tour, starting off in England, and we're going to take a detour to Paris, and we're going to finish in Northern Ireland. So I'll put the info about in the chat about that. And also I'm going to be on the radio, CIUTFM.FM on the internet. You can listen along. 10 o'clock EST, 3 in the morning in the UK, if you want to stay up to listen live, or I think there'll be a recording afterwards. And I guess that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I think we all needed that amusing reviews there. They were brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. It's a pity you're coming over a couple of weeks too late to start off the tour in Scotland, though, but never mind. Never mind. Thank you very much. Okay. Debut number 5, 6, whatever tonight. Will you please welcome Nema?
Hello, hi. Can you hear me okay? Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear
okay,
you. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I'm going to share 2 poems with you today. One is not one of my own, and the second will be one of my own. First poem is a poem by Palestinian-American poet Lina Khalaf Tafaha, and it's called Running Orders. They call us now. Before they drop the bombs, the phone rings, and someone who knows my first name calls and says in perfect Arabic, "This is David." And in my stupor of sonic booms and glass-shattering symphonies still smashing around in my head, I think, do I know any Davids in Gaza? They call us now to say, run. You have 58 seconds from the end of this message. Your house is next. They think of it as some kind of wartime courtesy. It doesn't matter that there is nowhere to run to. It means nothing that the borders are closed and your papers are worthless and mark you only for a life sentence in this prison by the sea. And the alleyways are narrow and there are more human lives packed one against the other, more than any other place on earth. Just run. We aren't trying to kill you. It doesn't matter that you can't call us back and tell us the people we claim we want aren't in your house, that there's no one here except you and your children who are cheering for Argentina, sharing the last loaf of bread of this week, counting candles left in case the power goes out. It doesn't matter that you have children, You live in the wrong place, and now is your chance to run to nowhere. It doesn't matter that 58 seconds isn't long enough to find your wedding album or your son's favorite blanket or your daughter's almost completed college application or your shoes or to gather everyone in the house. It doesn't matter what you had planned. It doesn't matter who you are. Prove you are human. Prove you can stand on two legs. Run. Thank you. And the second poem is one of my own, from my upcoming book, COVID, The Wordy Wilds of a Mind Under Lockdown. And it's called Writing on Reefer. The tap tap of keyboards, trails spill from the mind, imagination ablaze, a brainstorming haze, ideas plucked and refined, thoughts and words interweave, the block dissolving, expression evolving, Kerouac emerging from the weeds, infrequent gulps of dark, sharp sourness, sickly sweet with a dash of cream, a tug at the conscious stream, snowy ribbons drift up to the cornice, a searing marigold flare, the subconscious seeping out of confinement to chart and captain the assignment, drifting with the flow of the flare, singing life is but a dream, siphoning up the heart of emotion, bleeding in eloquent motion, born of flight of fancy's gleam. Time's new Roman castigating on white. Je t'accuse, I muse, plucking strands of psyche for my delight. The moving finger writes and having writ, lands the plane on the strip, doused in earthy Colombian sips, mulling over the letters the mind submits. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for finally managing to fight your way into here. I don't know why sometimes there's some people always struggle to get in, but thank you. Glad you made it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, wonderful. Anytime. Okay. Hello, Claire. That's yours.
Hi.
On you go.
Okay, so this first poem is about, well, it's supposed to be a book for children, but it can be read on lots of different levels. But it's about the book The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and it's a poem I wrote about it. And I'm calling it The Land of Wardrobe. I'm from the Speum, said Lucy. Said Mr. Thomas with a frown. I believe that makes you a daughter of Eve. No, no, she replied with a polite sigh. Heaven sees a name. Do I make myself plain? I mustn't stay. I can't delay. Professor Kirk will feel hurt if I'm late for his tea time date. Fear not, there's no need to be late for your victuals. Why not join me in my rituals? You can join me in my kippers on toast. Time moves differently here. There's a dear. Woe is me, I've been a naughty fawn. So I see, said Lucy in return. Like God, she had compassion and the lack of scorn. So that's the first one. And I've got another one, I'm forgetting it. Just bear with me a minute. This is called How to Fall Out of Love. How to fall out of love. No, no, you've got it wrong again. Stop doing it your way. My way is the right way. Let's make love tonight. No, no, not till the dishes are strained correctly. It's your turn to read the bedtime story tonight. So that's that one. This is a poem about what poetry should be about. It's called Poetry Should Be. Poetry should be about teaching you to see. Poetry should inspire and not leave you feeling dire. Poetry should be about externalizing the internal and internalizing the external. Poetry should help you sing your song. Poetry should reflect, not deflect, north and south, east and west, without claiming one is better than the best. Poetry should be about she and he, you, me, and thee. My final one is about the anti-war journalist and photographer Tim Page, who died recently. Tim Page was quite the age. He lived the era through the LSD insignia of the camera. He never let shrapnel act as a deterrent. Whilst high, he would ride around, reaching for the sky. He would make Hunter S. Thompson sigh with frustration. He was full of brilliance. With him, there was no time for dalliance. Being dead never went to his head. What he saw in the war channeled his mania into becoming an anti-war campaigner. To end with an epitaph, he once said that the only good war photograph was an anti-war photograph. Thank you for listening to me. Thanks.
Thank you from Finn. We can't hear you. You've gone. So I'm next, I think, aren't I? Is that right? Yes.
Yeah, you're next. Yeah.
Well, I don't know why I couldn't hear you. Right. Sorry about that. It's been a brilliant night, and honestly, I thought it was Saturday, which is why I was late. I'm really sorry.
That's okay.
I've got a poem about Manchester. I'm not from Manchester, but I lived there for 35 years. It's called The Streets of Manchester. Why should work be pinstripe straight and every day be pleated grey? Buy your shirts with crinkle crease and put that iron away. Let your tights be zigzag bright. Actually, this is dedicated to the women of Manchester. Let your tights be zigzag bright with shoes that match your eyes. Buy bags with chunky golden chains and then accessorize. The day is dull enough, so contrast it with your clothes. Reflect a traffic light complexion. Women, stop, get ready, go. It's only a silly one. But I wanted to contrast it between where I used to live and where I went on my holidays, because I saw Finn and a lot of folks and lots of lovely countryside. And this poem was kind of a summation of what I saw, and it's only short. It's called Shetland Swatch. For those of you know what swatch is, it's a little piece of cloth, or a sample of cloth. Heather and grass tartan the hills, whilst rock sporrans outcrop the pleated slopes, and birds swirl the circling currents. Our landlocked eyes scan afresh the locked land, pools and nesses, seeking newness in the wind-blown wilderness. So, two little ones of two very different places. And then, if I may just do my more typical stuff. I don't normally write about places. I've written about stress. This is called Fight or Flight. Fight or flight. I thought the choice was binary. No one told me there were three. I would freeze and not recognize my own distress, think I was too emotional, too sensitive, whatever label others saw to call me. It didn't fit me. But silence, apparently, is a resounding yes. Freeze sounds like silence, looks like acquiescence, a yes, when nothing is said. Whilst I'm projecting cool, freeze feels like a boiling turmoil. Freeze feels like an escape of air filtered through gritted teeth. Freeze. No words for this emotion, a frustration of conflict. I don't agree. I don't agree. But words evade me. I freeze, forget to breathe. Breathe. Breathe deeply. The introvert in me needs time to think. Silence isn't acquiescence, it's a deathly panic that is one step removed from rigor mortis. My grin is panic at the thought of this. Silence is defiance. No, not this. Silence is resistance. No, not this. Silence is trying to make sense of an experience no one can feel but you. It's a black hole, deeper than an ocean rift. You can drown in silence. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you. Gary's disappeared off the screen. He's back again. We'll give Clive and perhaps Gary a time to get settled in since they just in and got in this time. I'm going to read a couple for a change, and I'm going to read one that I have literally just written now, scrawled it on a bit of paper, after having a conversation with someone. There's no title on it, if I can read my own writing. Thank fuck it's on the way out. Only 4 months to do. It can't end soon enough. Not that all is bad, but although creativity has been the best, the rest, well, it can do one. Broken cars, broken arm, broken friends, crashed in straits, not bent, flooded house. I scream and shout, please end. 2022, I'm done with you. And I'm going to read this one that I wrote the other day, and then we'll go to Clive. This was called, it's actually true, I was sitting last week. It's called 1,000 Shades of Grey, or Why Hawaiian Shirts Are Only Worn at Stag Nights. I was sitting in a TGI Fridays the other day. Don't judge me. The limited choice of vegan eateries in this area is poor, but it all fits in with this. I passed a comment to June. There's a severe lack of individuals in this city. Her agreement was instant. Its people are monotone, monotonous, regardless of race, color, creed. They may bleed red, but most look as if their insides are dead. Whether they are going to the bingo or classes to learn another lingo, they lack invention in their style. And all the while their eyes seek color. My eyes seek color. A journey or adventure. I'm guessing their intention. The city is more cultural than the past, but each passerby looks the same as the last, except one in royal blue dress, tutu and bright colored sneakers, seeing things with active peak pairs. But she was young, preschool, I guess. When she gets older, will she just look like the rest? Teenage girls with the latest fashions, looking like each other without obvious passion. It's what they do, I surmise, all grays and black, blue jeans and hoodies. I get distracted by someone unmuted there, sorry. Blue jeans and hoodies, wanting to be just like everybody, wanting to be the same. Summer floral frocks, because that's all the shops stock. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no revolution. There is only Primark. Why are you hiding? You don't have to stand out from the crowd. You don't have to dress very loud. Ridiculous. That's not the answer, not the way. Dare to be individual. That's what I say. So after all this, what is my conclusion? Is bland just another illusion? Peel back the sports bats, joggers, and sameness. Will I see a butterfly emerge? Brightly coloured, flapping wings? I have my doubts about such things. The revolution will not be streamed, not even in my wildest dreams. There will be no revolution. There is not even Topshop now. There is only Primark. Thank you.
You got me drink some bottle of water to fill up. What?
Thank you. All right. Clive, are you ready to go, sir?
There we go.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I was saying, hopefully I'm ready. I'm literally just walked in from work and it's not been the greatest of days, so hopefully I'm ready. I'm going to do two. People who see me regularly will have heard them, so apologies for that. So the first one was written during that horrible heat wave we had a couple of weeks ago. And it was an imaginary, obviously, conversation between the newsreader, Hugh Edwards, and the weatherman on BBC, the rather wonderfully named Thomas Schaffernacker. And this is perhaps what they should have said rather than what they did say. So that's the news. It's approaching 6:30. Now it's over to Thomas Schaffernacker for the weather. Is there any sign of an end to the heat wave, Thomas? Well, Hugh, as you've already spent half the bulletin discussing it with the climate experts and moronic climate change deniers for the sake of what the BBC laughably calls balance, you don't need me to tell you that no, it's going to continue. We're all doomed. Tom Jones is recording the brown, brown grass of home. Can you see where this is going? Balance? It's got balance when one side states facts and the other talks out of their ass, is it? So yeah, it's fucking warm. Cool and the gang have reformed as fucking Boiling and the gang. Get it yet? Ravi spontaneously combusts now, even in January, in Scotland. It's no joke. Red warning for mention of bigoted trash. But Malt Gibson is angling for a part in the latest hastily commissioned sequel, Empty Reservoir Dogs. The theory of 6 degrees of separation is now the 106 degrees of conflagration. We're all connected by a fiery fate. But don't worry, Johnny on YouTube said it's fake. It was just as bad in 76. Stupid bastard. King Carnes has rewritten her most famous song as Sweaty Davy's Eyes. OPM now sing Heaven is a Hosepipe. Travis are singing Why Does It Never Rain on Me? And soon we'll have the Seven Seas Are Dry by Queen. Even the Rolling Stones have seen us swelter and recorded, for fuck's sake, give me shelter. It's apocalyptic. I'll say it again. It's apocalyptic. Life expectancy is now reduced to three scorched years and 10. Waterloo is now Aridloo and it stinks. So no, Hugh, there's no end in sight to the heat wave. And if you'll excuse the profanity, the most notable ending is fucking humanity. Sleep tight, viewers. Oh, you can't. It's too hot. And you can't afford to keep the fan on. Oh, well, never mind. So that's that one.
Funny.
Funny
because it's true.
Yeah. The other one is a bit different. Some of you have heard it, and it is. I mean, I know my stuff's always different because I'm different, you know, a little bit, you know. But this is different in a different way. So, yeah. Here we go. Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Do you know me? I am democracy. I am tolerance. I am decency. Surely it's not hard to see what's happening to me. I'm old and sick, and bit by bit, I'm dying. I'm fighting to hold on, but without your help, I'll soon be gone. I cannot do this thing alone. You are the doctors and nurses. Can't you see that? If left untreated, this sickness can't be defeated. Words are not enough. Your words are therapy, but your actions are medicine. Therapy alone is not enough. My mind cannot be cured if my body's already dead. I still have so much to offer. This is not the right time for me to go. I need you to save me. I'm weakening so quickly, so terribly. Actions, not words. Medicine, not therapy. Don't let me die. Bring me back to the light. The darkness is descending. I'm scared. Not for myself, but for what I leave behind. Don't let me go. I beg you to save me. Give me medicine. It's still within your power. I beg you, do something. If we all work together, you can still save me. Enough is enough. Please, do something. Please. Save me. Please. Please. Please, you have one last chance. Don't let me go. One last chance. Do something. Something. Thank you very much. So that's me done.
Wow.
Wow, that was so different, Clive. Right enough. Different days, different does. That's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Wow. Thank you.
Cheers.
Right. Enjoy your trip over to the
New
East
York.
Village in
Yeah,
New York
I'm on
next
my way.
week. Have a great time. Have a great time there.
Cheers.
Okay. All right. We come for our dear friend to finish the show. Gary.
Oh, sorry, I'm not been here earlier. I've just finished my acting spell, you know, because I'm no longer a poet. I'm an actor. So I'm going to try and get two. But the second one is a piece from. I was playing a philandering poetry gigolo, and so it was really hard for me to act it. But here we go. First one. First one's called Pot-Bellied Kid. A mischievous fly plays the piccolo, dances on a starving child's eyebrow. An effervescent tear blurs their vision. Nothing to see, just malnutrition. Starvation. A large solitary tear cries no hope, has no fear, without a care, drips onto the grotesque pot belly. A bubble tear. A child blood has no iron, leaks water into their bellies, bloated and distended, prolonged nutrition deficiency, bloated and distended. The reality of a child in the 21st century is a playground for pests and flies, snacking on the dead skin of a child's facial flesh, scavenging and relishing, salivating and vomiting on a fledgling's face. Vultures in flies' clothing. Glossy baby teeth look
brand new, never touch a piece of food, never use in anger to bite or chew, a 21st century child who never grew. Their belly, a template for the pregnant mum's tummy. No umbilical cord will be severed, bloated and distended. Bloated and distended. She and her unborn child, powerless and hungry. They never had 5 a day. It would have been good if they had 5 a year. But all that is left is a dead, obese fly lying on a pot-belly skeleton with a solitary tear. Okay, so that was the first one. And just a line. This one is from the play Climax I've been in. Lots of trigger warnings in it, but I dedicate this to everybody. The play portrays a fashion show by the clothing labels Eden. And here is my part. Lots of trigger warnings. Welcome to the Garden of Eden. In this sanctuary of hills and fashion, some of you are Eves, all of you have Adam. And by the end of this auspicious evening, some of you will be defined as poison. Deadly poison. Snakes and apples, living in scruples. Did I wander here on a lonely camp? No, I came here on British Rail and I had to sit second class. And now I'm here. I have to bear witness to the size of these asses. Does thy bum look big in those fabrics? Good job, those asses have cracks. I did not ask here to be with these culture-free vegans. I was led to believe these skeletons with fabric were fashion icons. Don't these people have friends? Or even a mirror? Mutton dressed as lamb, more like dressed like Boris Johnson. Some of these skeletons have travelled from London, but looking at the dress sense, they have come here following Dick Whittington. Stop all the clocks. Stop all the dogs barking. Stop. Wait a minute. Uptown. No. Cut off the Wi-Fi. Stop the data. Lady, where did you get those shoes? Part of the Primark collection? Disappointed that some of those didn't get the memo that this is not a dress down for work celebration. Nowhere on the invitation to say, welcome to the LD reunion. Thankfully, the waitress is dressed like the Queen's coronation. Standards. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I shall give you Proverbs 18:21. Death and life in the power of the tongue. Serpent tongueless will become. And those who love it will eat the fruit. Because every day I create words, dialects, consonants, vocabulary. I see words. I consume words for my 5 a day. I use words to unleash the power invested in me. I use words to criticize and analyze and defend and ridicule the bad choices make. I have written to be controversial. I've even written about my large genitals just to be controversial. Sometimes just I flirt with your womb to be a scale. But don't let my kindness be mistaken for weakness. I have written fluidly with expression, extraneous, with diverse solution. I have gone on my soapbox where no one goes to blot on a Sunday night in such dismal company. I shall tickle the womb nerves that makes you scale. If that doesn't work, I'll get it downright dirty and sexual. I shall challenge you with a narrative and devour your chastity. I shall wax your lyrical with vowels and consonants. Because I, yes, you look at I am the poetry gigolo. Every exclamation mark is followed by an innuendo. The ink drops, block copy my book, which just sucks. I get anal about bad grammar. I always start erect with a capital letter. And I will get oral with speech marks, with 66 and 9s, getting into Kama Sutra parts. So can I insert my additional discussion? The answer is yes. So my words are not lost in translation. I will flirt with the narrative, commence foreplay with the antonym, so I can come with the cinnamon and sleeping with the subjective with commas and semicolons. I romance and tease, because it is my duty to sodomize. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. A suffix is followed by core, darling, as your father. It's the pretext. It takes a 30-second ejaculation. Do not pass go and proceed to the poetry at all. Because I, as I said, I am the poetry gigolo, and I'm sexy and a poet.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, thank you. Great, you made it. I was wondering where you got to, but thank you for coming in anyway. Great. What a great way to end the show. Once more, wonderful stuff. Great night. Lots of lovely blotters, lots of new blotters. And we're kind of back to a 3.5 hour schedule again after being under 3 hours last time. So thank you everyone who stuck it all the way through. Thank you those who came and left, and you know, as long as you come, it's fine. Late, early, I don't mind. It cheered me up and such of shit little time some of us have been having, but it's always great. And we're back next month when Richard Harris is our feature point with his new book will be out, which will be absolutely brilliant. It'll be a great day. Hopefully he's got his eyesight back from there by then, of course. And we'll have probably Skylar Winter, but she'll be zooming in from a hotel in Aberdeen, I'd imagine, as opposed to like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. As she sometimes does, like Kelly did today. And Kelly obviously had to leave early. She's got, I think, a flight to catch this morning. And it's been wonderful. Thank you all again. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. Thank you those who's participated in my book and all those who's got to buy the book. And wonderful. Thank you indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Finn. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night,
Finn. Good night,
Oh,
everyone.
it's such a fun night. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
And everybody enjoy your trips wherever you're going to.
Thank you.
Cheers, everyone.
See you all
Nice to be
soon.
back, Finn. Thank you.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Okay.